Good evening, and welcome to tonight's episode of Arcane Adventures. As always, before we jump into tonight's episode, we do have a few session announcements to get through. The first being your weekly reminder that we have quiz questions available every Tuesday and Friday under the post section of our YouTube channel. You can head over to at Arcane_Adventures, that's our YouTube handle, and click on the post tab and then answer some lore questions about our adventures that we have going on here in the world of Aletheia and about the current stories as they unfold. Also, in conjunction with those quiz questions, we also have shorts releasing every Tuesday and Friday that highlight the most iconic moments of our session episodes for your laughs and enjoyment on the internet. And also, in case you have missed the announcement for the last few weeks, we have socials now on TikTok and Instagram. The handles are down in the video description, and you'll also see them on the intervention slides. We are super excited to get content rolling out for y'all. So make sure to go like and follow us on those two platforms, both Instagram and TikTok, and we will see you on the flip side. But for now, that is all the session announcements that we have for tonight's episode. So let's go ahead and jump into tonight's episode of Arcane Adventures. And welcome back. Last we left off, the adventurers known as Lorem Ipsum took some much-needed downtime in the city of Provenere, taking about a week off or so to both accomplish renovations to their property, the Korthals Chateau, and also various personal tasks within the week. In the day after the renovations were completed and each of our characters reconvened for breakfast, Marigold Burrows, the Korthals Chateau's property manager, delivered some updates about how the renovations had gone and prompted further the notion that perhaps we could, if Lorem Ipsum so decides to do so, reorganize into a house. However, after a little bit of discussion amongst our adventurers, they have decided once again that it is best to try to make some contacts with other individuals, perhaps in the city of Provenere and even beyond it, with other noble families in Phyrexia or Oceavester, before pursuing the opportunity maybe to reconsolidate into a house, if they choose to do that. In the meantime, though, two of their Bastion hirelings, that being Savara Quilshay, the librarian, and Talik Hobbentrak, the storehouse manager, delivered some of their own more personalized updates. Savara revealed some details about the recent theft of information and relics at Claremorth University that happened a few weeks before Lorem Ipsum returned from the Frostbitten Waste back to the city of Provenere. Connecting those dots, Genevieve and Marek were able to likely draw some connections to who would be responsible for that information theft and where that information might have gone. And that, of course, is none other than our good old pal, the Titanium Blade, also known as Azal, a character that has continued to come up in our investigations, and yet he's so far away, and so we just haven't decided quite yet that he was worth investigating until now, as Lorem Ipsum begins to discuss plans to visit Elatar Bay and perhaps encounter the Titanium Blade in his place of work and see how that goes. However, before that occurs, Talik Hobbentrak informed us that a meeting had been procured with maybe some allies, maybe not, who's really to say, but that event, as we're calling it, is set to occur on the evening we will pick up with in just a moment, MTET 44th at 8:17 p.m. at a place known as the Shalehouse. Who will be in attendance, we have yet to uncover, but Talik was able to maybe delineate which houses were for the Gilded Order and which ones were perhaps against, at least in part. But the Gilded Order continues to make political and military advances in the city of Provenere almost on a daily basis at this point, drawing much alarm to both the common citizens but also to Lorem Ipsum, a fair stakeholder in the well-being and outcome of their place that they now call home, their own property, and also their employees and those around them. So, with the agenda set to visit the Shalehouse later this evening, we pick up in Chapter 9, Episode 6, conveniently called The Shalehouse. It is roughly 3 p.m. in the afternoon on MTET 44th. Each of you has enjoyed a baked potato lunch, a local cuisine from Iazlan, now spreading across the world, very famous delicacy, as some would call it. But all of you have enjoyed your lunch and have talked a little bit about your plans for this evening and also about some other plans as well. But we will let all of you resume in this conversation space as you prepare yourselves for what is only 5 hours and 17 minutes away. So, Lorem Ipsum, those of you that find yourselves here in the dining hall of the Coastal Chateau, what's going on?
Being that Zeiros is more of a meat eater, Zeiros is very tentatively eating the baked potato.
Sure. The cook has also offered that there are other food items available if you'd like something other than a baked potato.
Yeah, I mean, Zeiros will get probably something. I don't think Zeiros doesn't like the baked potato. It's more of like just doesn't hit that nutritiousness for what Zeiros needs. So I think Zeiros will also have just like, I don't know. Zeiros seems like the type of person to just have like a whole chicken.
Sure.
Zeiros an obligate carnivore?
Well, part of the whole like species thing is like it has to eat meat.
Yeah, obligate carnivore.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is there toppings on the baked potatoes?
There are, Pura, as we talked about last week in our last episode, there was some cheese on the baked potato. But Pura
that's right.
Seems to be faring okay as of yet. But it's been some hours since that meal took place.
Well, surprised we started this far
have...
before the meeting.
Yeah, I know, right?
So we have we're meeting up with this people at the Shalehouse?
Yeah,
I suppose so.
Apparently my informant has gotten us a secret meeting.
Oh. Nice, that's interesting. With who?
With a lot of the houses that don't like the Gilded Order.
Assumedly.
Okay.
Assumedly.
This being said, I do think it would probably be in our best interest to... Not exactly quite sure how to... Regarding the nature of this meeting, I don't know if we are... Our objective will, of course, be, gathering support. However, I think it might be best if we start looking into what exactly would be the best way to do that. Simply showing our disdain of the Gilded Order is one thing. However, it might be important to know exactly what they want.
Like favors that we can do for them, kind of thing? They can do for us?
Maybe. But more so, something tells me that what they want would be perhaps a return to how Provenere was prior to the Gilded Order's arrival. And I don't know if y'all recall, but that wasn't necessarily great. And not something that I particularly would like to see. But if we want their support, we might have to say that we would support their return to power. Things of that nature.
So agree to a revolution, but not actually agree to the revolution.
I think perhaps the best way to go about it is to be uncommitted to what future we pursue.
Okay. So say we like the idea of a revolution, but not anything further than that.
Yes. We appreciate the failure that the Gilded Order has been so far, and would like to see a change of management.
Okay. What if one of them wants to be the change of management?
I absolutely suspect that they will be. Keeping, these were the former council, and I'm sure in their minds they are the best substitute, as Provenere was quote-unquote fine up until recently. I know we have not necessarily discussed what exactly we want the future of the city to look like, but I think it is best that we keep it vague currently, as A, we are not exactly sure what we want, and B, to ensure we're able to make as many friends as possible.
Well, then maybe we should do some information gathering before the meeting.
Perhaps. I was...
This Shalehouse, is this like a... What is this place?
Would Pura know what the Shalehouse is?
Make a history check.
Okey-dokey.
I feel like if we want to commit to anything, we need to A, know exactly who these houses are, what they want,
16.
and...
16. Pura, in your 5 years of living in the city of Provenere, the Shalehouse has never been a place that you have visited. You've never really had a reason to go, but you are aware of what its purpose is, at least. Not even so much as where it is with a 16, but so much, at least, that you understand that it's basically a small annex meant to serve as like an extension office of what was the Council of Provenere prior to the takeover of the Gilded Order. They basically, much like the Hex Market offices, handled the clerical paperwork, serving local citizens in a particular area of the city. It has, with the 16, you know that it has like a room that you can rent out for like, you could do for weddings or banquets or something like that, but it is not by any means the prime location to do that. And so I think that's about all you can recall about the Shalehouse with the 16.
To answer your question about the Shalehouse, it's basically a place where the government club would do paperwork and can also be rented out for special events.
Okay.
Oh.
So do you have a location? Because I was going to say that I also think one of us should scope it out a bit.
No,
You know?
I do not.
Did the invitation not have one?
Does it?
Nope, just says the Shalehouse.
Would I have any idea where the Shalehouse would be? Like the general direction? Or place in the city? Nope.
16? Nope.
No.
Someone go ask
Crap.
Marigold.
Marigold!
She comes kind of rushing in frantically from the office. Yes, sir.
Do you know where the Shalehouse is?
No, I can't say I do, but if it's on the map, I did hand that to Vellmon a few days ago, so he might have that available to all of you if you've taken a look at it, but I don't have a copy of the map currently, so... Is there anything else any of you need?
Nope. That's about it.
Alright,
Thank you.
and she will return to the office then.
Alright, I need to open this in a new window, because... to zoom in more.
Man, this one doesn't have a legend.
How do I zoom in?
As Dan has put down map.
Well, if we want to do any research prior to the meeting, we should figure out, again, what exactly the personal agendas of these individuals are, as well as going forward, perhaps, what exactly Oshivester and Brentero are willing to do about Provenere. As if any big changes are going to happen, it's going to require basically approval from them. Both of them.
If you want, I can go and kind of stake out the shell house for a second and see what's going on.
Yeah, you can. I can. It doesn't matter. We can both go stake it out. I'm pretty sneaky.
Did we find the shell house on the map?
Yes.
I can barely read the map, so.
Ooh, yeah, where
I
is
just
it?
found it. It's in the south west area of the map.
Ah, found it. Cool. I was like, okay, so yeah, y'all two can go do that. I was going to. I can do. Well, I don't know what y'all want me to do, actually. Are we all invited, or is it just.
No, it's all.
I mean, I could only assume.
Okay, good. I probably actually should not be hanging out too much outside then, so I can save my. Do we know how long this meeting's gonna be?
Nope.
Not
No idea.
particularly.
Well then.
Alright, well, what do we even, I mean, is it someone's, it's just a building where they used to hold meetings. What are we even staking it out for? I imagine it's probably going to be, like, mostly empty until the meeting.
Yeah, probably. Maybe we could go talk to some of the houses beforehand, or that'd be too risky.
Do we know what houses are?
Yes.
Then yeah, that might be a good idea. If that's the case, maybe I should be one of the people to go stake out this place while y'all do the talking. I'm not really the best with conversations. But stalking and spying, that I'm good at.
Sure.
What was the name of the one house with the lion people that I'm drawing a blank on? On the whole, the one where we like investigated the murder at. I can't remember the name.
Yes, the
Bomb.
Luxodons, the
Yeah,
elephant
Luxodon.
people. Yes, that
Yeah,
was the
sorry,
house
line.
of Esquire Luso.
Okay.
Now you can assume the house of Esquire Roar and his brother.
Right. Okay.
And I did send you an email.
Thank you.
With your requested information. So
Could not get Discord to behave.
I get it.
Well then. Vellmon and Altrix, what do you want to do?
I can't think of anything additional on top of what's already been said.
I'm in the same boat as Ultrix. I don't know what else to add to this. Either we go there and have pleasant talks, or we go there and people die, which is usually how it goes for us.
Where did we find it on the map?
Southwest corner.
Southwest. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Did the invitations say what houses are going to be present?
No.
Not.
But we did get information about the houses from the storehouse keeper.
Yes.
Not all of them.
Yes, you're
Reached
correct.
out.
He did, to Dan's point, did point out some people that Talik believed were allied with the Gilded Order and some that he believed were not, but he was not able to get tabs on all of them.
If House Bradier is there, that could potentially be beneficial to us. I have a slight connection with them.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking. Like, I'd be really good at going and staking out brain
Shale.
fart Shalehouse, because I got no connection with any of the houses. While each of y'all have connection with at least some people in this area, because y'all have been here before and I've not.
I don't believe a stakeout will be necessary. I mean,
I think it's more of just a check out the place and see what it is, and like what type of place it is before
I mean,
like.
It was a government building, so I don't imagine there's too much to it.
Sure, but it's good. Information's information.
My memory is lacking here. Did we ever meet with the real Esquire Rowan?
never
No.
personally, no.
Yeah,
They're
officially no.
Okay.
We met his bomb brother.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that part, but I don't remember if we ever actually like interacted with him after that.
Now, technically, when all of you saw the council
Yes.
all together, that's been your only interaction with every member of the council as they were. But no, not personally.
All right.
I'm just suggesting something that's like, because it's the whole thing of I got no clue what Zeiros could do other than just stand around, so I'm trying to think of something Zeiros could do.
Well,
I mean, if you want, you can be a stakeout, but more of as a backup in case stuff goes wrong.
Well, I mean, I was gonna go inside with y'all whenever it's time to do like the actual discussion. I was just gonna go check the place out and see what it is and what's like. Before we actually go there, since none of y'all have been there before.
Maybe go look for ways of escape.
That's exactly what I was thinking. In case this is a trap, looking for ways of escape, looking for routes and other things like that.
That would probably be pretty beneficial, knowing
See
our past
who's
interactions.
also who's sneaking around, and maybe figure out who frequents the place or what it looks like and other things.
I don't think it's necessary, but if you want to do it, then sure.
I mean, do we have anything else that it's the go talk with the people at like the places. Zeiros has no connection with any of them.
Yeah, I get it.
So
right.
it's like the only other thing I could do is go talk with like the churches or go just explore the city.
You could figure out how the churches feel about the Gilded Order.
That is what I was thinking of. My alternate is go to check out what the churches feel.
Mm-hmm.
all right.
I know like Zeiros only really interacted with the one church person, but like maybe.
$5 hours until the meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I have time. Yeah, I don't think I have time for both, right? No.
It's a pretty lengthy walk across the city and back, so probably not.
How long would it take to get to Esquire Rowan's house?
Not very far. Lives right behind you.
No.
So
Okay. Pura would like to go to the storehouse, pick out a very fine bottle of something, and then
Okay.
go there.
okay, sure. Sure.
If y'all don't think it's necessary to go stake the shale house out, I can go to the churches and see what they're like.
I think that might be a better idea.
All right, I'll go to the churches then.
Okay. Anybody else going anywhere?
I guess I'll take this time to go search for the old man.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? It's fine. You don't have to go anywhere.
Can't really think of anything we need to necessarily do immediately. I guess, maybe not necessarily prudent right now, but for future. Altrix would like to sort of go to the library, see if he can't find anything regarding the Alliance of Provias and how they do political appointments.
Okay.
Like history of that.
The library here at the Coastal Chateau.
If I can't find anything at the Coastal Chateau, then one at the university.
Okay. I was asking because the Claremorth Library is all the way across town, which you have time to go there and back, but yeah.
Yeah.
I assume also like for Zeiros is just gonna meet y'all at the Shalehouse after talking with the churches stuff.
Okay.
Because of the length of time it would take probably. Right? Does that make sense, or do I have enough time to go back to the
I mean, that depends on how much time you spend at the Cathedral Plaza, but you can probably go there, chat for an hour, and come back to the Coastal Chateau and have plenty of time. So,
okay, we'll see. We'll see how long it takes then. I'll
Sure,
just check it out.
sure. All right. Well, Pura, we will start with you. As you, what do you grab? What nice bottle of alcohol do you furnish from the storehouse?
Probably a bottle of champagne.
Grab a bottle of champagne, head onto the main road, quickly turning a U-turn up, passing in front of the estate of the former officer Mox Flynn, though you haven't seen him in some time, and heading up across the way where Esquire Lusso used to live, where Esquire Warren would likely live now. There is still a bit of a crater in front of the house. It's kind of filled in with water a little bit, and someone has placed a fountain out in front of it, but you know that site. It's a blast hole in the ground. But as you approach the front door, the house looks roughly the same as it did when you broke into it. So the front door is there for you, or you can do whatever you like.
We were let in. We didn't break in.
Pure broke in.
I went to the roof, remember?
Yeah, he fell to the roof.
One of many times, but yeah.
I hope they remember that, and you're about to get arrested. I think it'd be really funny.
I knock on the door.
It is quiet for a moment, and then opening the front door is a face that you have seen before. This is the housekeeper, Chanella. She is also a Luxodon, taller than you, older in her years. As she opens the door, yes.
I don't know if you remember me, but my name is Pura. I'm with the Coastal Chateau, and I was wondering if Esquire Ronan was home so I could talk to him.
You look vaguely familiar. Unfortunately, the Esquire is not home at the moment. He is out on business. Is there a message I could take for him?
Yes. And I take out the bottle of champagne and please give this to him as I guess a gesture of goodwill from the Coastal Chateau, and looking forward to our further involvement working with him.
All right, well, thank you. I'm sure he will appreciate it. He had a very fanciful alcohol cabinet when his brother passed away, and unfortunately that alcohol, I don't know what happened, but I'm sure he would love to restock it, so thank you.
Yeah. I bet he does love his alcohol. Anyway, thank you. I'll see
Pleasure. Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah,
Have
of
a
course.
good day.
Bye.
You close the door.
Did Pura steal it? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
what
stole
happened?
all the alcohol.
Pura stole all the bottles of alcohol. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that even a question?
Yeah, I was like, I was
it's
just
not
trying to
even-
make sure I remembered correctly.
Mhm. That's why I thought like, oh, I'll give them the alcohol.
Sure.
Yeah, they're out.
Right, they're out.
Yeah, they're out.
You know they're out.
Yeah, they're out.
Even though it's been several months.
They've been busy, okay? Zeiros, as you head down to the Cathedral Plaza here in the city, is there a particular cathedral you're headed to, or just any one of them?
Helms.
Helm, okay.
To start, protection. You start with the
Sure, of
protectors. The
course.
protectors want to protect against evil.
Yes,
Right.
for sure. Okay. You head to the Cathedral of Helm, and I believe you have encountered the Watchful Father Yorin Valus before.
Yep.
And he, of course, at this hour of the afternoon, it seems to be preparing for almost some kind of sermon or message he plans on delivering later this evening. So you find him in a offshoot study, but not a private study. It's just like a small library, opposite to the one that you encountered him in last time. But he is kind of over. There's a very cold pot or cup of tea that's sitting on the tabletop next to him. You can see that the steam has died out. It doesn't even look like it's been touched. And there is an inkwell that he is dipping into and writing something down as he hears you come in and turns around to see you come in once again. Well, welcome back.
Hello.
What can I do for you?
Are you free at the moment for a little chat?
Of course. What can I do for you?
Well, I wanted to see. I wanted to ask some questions about relations to Helm and maybe some political relations stuff as well.
Yes, unfortunately, there is no separation of church and state, despite the God's best effort.
Yeah, well, when churches are, the beliefs of the people, then
Of course.
it's kind of hard to separate those beliefs from policy.
I could not have said it better myself, but you do
And-
have particular questions I would hope to answer.
Well, I guess I'm not exactly familiar with the Gilded Order as much.
Huh.
But I was wondering where does I don't know, they seem to be a bit I guess I don't know if they would be they don't seem like the types that would be super supportive of like religion and other things like that, I guess. They kind of seem like they're very wanting to keep like people's beliefs in them, not in other things, I guess.
Oh, I understand, I think, what you're getting at. Yes. To start, the Gilded Order is... I'm not quite familiar with the Gilded Order myself, as it has been a recent development this year. But I do know that the graceful Vicarant, Norodazov as he is, did help institute the Gilded Order and did vote on their behalf. And seeing as that is my direct connection to the God Helm, I am in support of his decision to act. But more locally here, we as a cathedral, but also as this complex of cathedrals here as representatives and ambassadors of the Vicari here in the city of Provenere, a city that they helped build. We share similar beliefs to that, and the fact that we will support the Gilded Order as an extension of the law and the divine will of the gods as it is imposed upon the Vicari.
I see. They just seem to be very restrictive on like communication and such, which is kind of where I'm wondering where, like, I guess, where does that align with the beliefs and everything.
Sure, yes, the Gilded Order has been, I suppose, restrictive in some months past now. But the overseer of our local cathedral plaza here in Provenere, Sir Litholdus Cromwellin, has been doing much advocating as a former house of the city to permit our operations to continue functionally uninterrupted from the Gilded Order, which the Vicari have issued their support of that voiced policy and have continued to advocate on that behalf. The Gilded Order has not impaired our ability to deliver sermons or messages or watch over our faithful in any strenuous capacity, though we have run into a few hiccups, I suppose, along the way, as any change in government would see fit. But it hasn't been too terrible. In terms of aligning with our teachings, I do not know how familiar you are with the understanding and belief of the god Helm, other than our previous conversation. But Helm is the protector, the great protector, and thus the Gilded Order instituted to protect the city of Provenere. I see them doing a fulfillment of the god's work.
So you would say, like, for instance, I know, like, you need to basically pay money for, like, sending messages and, like, the sending spell. That's something that you think would be within the protection of Helm type deal?
Well, as a individual that does not have that magical capacity on my own, that has not been an issue for me per se, but some of my fellow brethren, other priests and priestesses amongst this complex, they have encountered that as a hiccup. I suppose it would have been presented in conversation, though Vicarant Honor Dazov, graceful as he is, has actually helped to institute a policy to bypass that. The churches here are not to be restricted in their communications, at least in regards to communicating back to the Vicari in Brentero. So it has not actually been an issue for us. I could see from someone else's perspective how that would be particularly imposing, I suppose, but I have to look at the other side of the coin, so to speak, in the fact that the Gilded Order has made it abundantly clear that the entire reason that they have imposed this system of policies and legalities in place is to protect the citizens of Provenere, as it seemed that many of the incidents that occurred earlier this year were the result of not keeping tabs on communications via magical means. It seems that got out of hand by the former council's purview, and thus the Gilded Order has come in to correct that.
I see. Well, there's a lot to think about with that.
Yes, I do not mean to bore you with the logistical dealings and politics of the church and the
Doesn't
city.
bore me.
But I hope that answered your question, at least.
No, yes it does. I wanted to see. I was more just curious because of just... I was just wondering because to me, I guess it kind of feels like it might be a bit more of like an invasion on some privacy stuff with the communications. And some people who maybe had that communication might not be able to, afford it if it costs money every time to use it.
I could understand that is a valid concern.
I don't think that necessarily
go ahead.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think the monitoring is as bad. It's more of the, the cost of it is something. You have to have a bank. You have to have a lot of certain things to basically be able to keep track of things. And some people are, some people like to be secretive and don't necessarily trust the government in terms of having that information.
Sure, but secrets are what seems to have gotten us into this dilemma that we find ourselves in anyway. So I would not necessarily agree that secrets are worthy of keeping if they mean to impair the lives of the citizens and violate protection. However,
That's fair.
I also would speculate. I'm not aware of how the system actually works. Like I said, I'm not familiar with using it myself, but I imagine the system doesn't pay for itself, so to institute that kind of infrastructure on this large of a scale, I imagine it takes taxes to support. And I think, as with any government that taxes its citizens, does so with the purest well-being at its heart and intention. Now, whether the execution of that intent is the right way or not, I suppose, is up to personal opinion. But at least it is done with good intent.
I think if it's done with good intent and isn't hurting the citizens, then I think that's where I would stand with it.
Well, are there any other questions I could answer for you?
Do you happen to know, if I wanted to learn more about the system, where I could learn more?
Unfortunately, I do not. That has been made relatively private by the Gilded Order. I do not know how you would gain access to that, but I'm sure Sir Cromwell would, as he is a former council member that does interact a great deal with the Gilded Order, as many of the former council does. I would even hypothesize that you could gain information on that you wanted, though I do imagine that for the sake of protection, that information is rather restricted. But
it's more of just, I guess, to me, it's the if the secrets are the issues, then them keeping it secret is in itself could be an issue, and if they were to be more open about it, then maybe that would quell some of the concerns with it.
I suppose that is fair, but also the people that are above those are entitled to keep their secrets if that is best to protect, I suppose. I would not necessarily always support the idea that keeping secrets is beneficial, and I certainly would never tell you that lying is beneficial, but
lying definitely is.
Some truths are better left out.
Unsaid.
Yes.
Maybe.
But that is not my decision to make.
That's fair. Well, thank you. I very much enjoyed this conversation.
Of course. I would invite you to attend our evening sermon. I plan to speak about the grace of the Protector and how, despite his grimace, I suppose, upon the world, he is graceful in that he offers protection free of charge to all of us as mortal beings.
What time is the sermon?
It'll start at 8 o'clock tonight. I would love to see you there.
I'll think about it. I might not have the time.
Sure.
To this time around, but maybe in the future.
Of course. Well, you have a blessed day. By the God Helm and Alethea, may their blessings be upon you as you walk the world.
Gives like a little bow, and then we'll head out.
All right. And you step back outside into the light of Veneris.
I don't know how much time I have left.
Sure.
Do I
You
have any
plenty of
time to go? Do I have any time to go check out the Shalehouse before heading back?
Probably not. Probably not to go all the way across town and then come back here. But
okay. I'll probably just head back.
Okay. Very well.
Or no, actually, I think I'm gonna just go to each of the churches and just kind of look around a bit.
Sure. And yes, each of the 7 gods of the Church of the 7 Gods is represented here in the city of Provenaria. Each has their own delegate, I suppose, their representative that serves as a direct connection to their respective vicarants. Each cathedral is decorated as a shrine and a place of worship, uniquely to each deity. But it seems that as you just kind of hear passing conversation, though I wouldn't go as far as to say that everyone here in the Cathedral Plaza is on par with what Watchful Father Yorin said, that is the general consensus, is that the faithful believe that it is, if it is the will of the Vicari, then it is the will of them. And they will uphold that, believing that the Vicari are acting in best interest for the citizens of Provenary. And I think we'll leave Zeiros there.
Yeah, that's good. I think Zeiros would just be in general, just kind of listening in on
Sure.
like conversations as they walk by, and so yeah, I think that's good.
All right. Well, we return to the coastal chateau, Vellmon. You are looking for a particular individual, and there is a place during the last week or so that you have picked up on maybe that individual being around. So as you head into the Hex district, before you actually get into the main Hex proper, you turn south and find yourself in a clustered network of rising towers surrounded by kind of a mismatch patchwork array of buildings that almost creates this back alley marketplace, a very small offshoot marketplace of the actual Hex itself. Not illegal by any means, but just a little bit away from the public eye, I should say. And as you draw closer, the familiar scent of mutton chops begins to fill your nostrils. And a very particular recipe would create that particular smell. And as you follow it, you once again find the elderly gentleman, Aurel, manning a small cart as he is roasting some mutton chops here.
It's been a while.
Oh, I suppose it has.
What have you been up to?
Not much, traveling about, I suppose. That is how it goes. What have you been up to?
Oh, just picking up your remains in Akadon.
My remains.
Do you deny you were there?
No, but I deny that I had remains.
Remains as in the city being where it is now.
Oh, you were referring to the fall of Akadon. I see. I didn't do that. That is not my doing.
You were there only a few days before it happened.
Yes, to recover an artifact that you are quite well aware of at this point.
You can speak to him. You don't have to talk about him in the third person.
Oh, I'm aware. But you never know who's listening, especially here.
So, why didn't you ever talk about what you did?
Pardon me?
You've always tried to give the illusion that you're just some humble old man. I figured that was a little bullcrap earlier this year. And yet you just kindly leave out the details that you caused or were in some huge heist of one of the most advanced civilizations ever. All to steal him back?
Ponders for a moment. Selectively ignores the question, grabs a mutton chop off the rack that's been roasting, offers it to you. Would you care for a bite?
I'll take a bite, but it's not going to bribe me from the question.
Wonderful. And he hands it to you. And as you take it from his hand, he drops something on the ground. And as it hits, the two of you vanish and appear in this odd, darkened landscape. We can speak more freely here.
Did I just inhale some strange white powder?
No, it was green, actually.
I don't know if that's any better.
I suppose that's a matter of speculation. But no, I would not tell you about those things because you do not need to know them. Now that you've uncovered them yourself is your own purview, I suppose, but I did not need to let you in on something. It did not pertain to your particular mission at the time, as you would call it, nor did it pertain to anything that was available to you to help you in particular quests that you were on.
Well, I feel like considering you know a lot more about me than you've let on, and as you know, you knew my father for a great deal of time, and the fact that you once again, for lack of a better word, pawned off this very dangerous and highly sought after individual to a child, um, that child deserves to know a little bit of as to why.
Sure. I suppose that's a fair question. But the answer would better be sourced from Shoni himself, not from me. He knows the answer. I simply followed his wishes.
He never seems to talk about it. He struggles to remember.
Yes, part of the curse. Unfortunately, we have not been able to quite break that in the many, many years of trying.
Well, he's definitely woken up some from when you've last seen him.
From when I've last seen him. That's funny.
If referring to the time before he was in a sword, then no, he's not that awake. From the last time you saw him with me.
And when was that time? Vellmon or Roth?
If you want to be technical, it was on our way to Oceavester a few months ago.
Right. That you know of.
Do you mean to tell me you've been stalking us?
Yes, I do mean to tell you that I've been stalking you. The last time I saw you, you were in Blixhaven.
Let me consult my map so I remember exactly where it is in relation to where we are right now.
It's very far north.
That's the one with the glacier slipping
Yeah.
around, right?
Yes, that's the dome. Yeah.
First of all, I don't appreciate very old men stalking me in the shadows. It's very, very disturbing.
I see. Well, I don't appreciate that you put it that way.
Well, when you disguise yourself as an old human man, I will describe you as such until you prove otherwise.
I think you're aware that I'm not a human man.
Oh, I know. But it's fun to poke and prod when I can.
Well, I'm glad you're taking some enjoyment in the situation at hand.
What, do you mean to tell me that the clay arm can just find you if you don't look like an old man?
No, but you never know if they're there somewhere. So it's best to conceal appearances, I believe.
Well, enough about past. That's not really why I sought you out this time around. What's your thoughts on the current state of Provenere and the Gilded Order?
Well, that's not particularly of my interest, so I don't really have thoughts. I don't keep tabs on the government. I'm not some shadow puppet pulling all the strings. Nor do I have influence in that kind of realm of power. Now, some of us do, but I do not.
I'd argue, as a wandering trader, you do have concerns about the current state of a city that you frequent to trade.
Sure, but I'm only frequenting those cities to keep in touch with you. The trade is simply a front.
So have you been tracking me through my entire journey?
No, there are some times that we did lose contact. You did disappear from Blixhaven, and I wasn't quite sure where you went. But I had decided to return to Provenere on my own, and glad I did, because not long after I came back, you came back.
could have used your help in Nakadon or the Frostbitten Wastes. That
Frankly,
ship
actually,
sucked.
I probably would not have been able to use my help. I would not have been of much assistance in whatever you encountered there, but I have visited the city of Akadon when it was operational, and I didn't like it, so I would like to not return.
And that's amazing, I'll be honest. Since you're so cooped up in terms of hiding from the clay arm, I take it you're not much interest in helping us turn the tides here in Polinary.
The way you phrase that question, I do not think is correct. I don't have a particular means to accomplish such turning of tides as you have said. However, I follow the wishes of the king. If Shoni wishes to do such a thing, then I will support him, as I have been doing his entire life.
First of all, Emperor, not King.
My mistake. I forget that he does change his titles sometimes.
And also, I doubt you don't have the means. I think you have some sort of leverage, whether politically or more physically. I doubt that you are just a frail, old individual. You raided Akadon, and you are some related to the Hells in some way. And most individuals from there are not pushovers.
I am not powerless, if that is what you mean to point at. However, that does not mean I have the power required to do anything here. Nor has it been expressed to me by the Emperor to do anything about it. But I am glad to see that you are a different person than the last time I saw you.
I have Paloma to thank for that.
I suppose you can give her my thanks then.
I mean, you could always thank her yourself.
I could.
Since you clearly know where I live.
Yes, I have known where you lived for quite some time, but that is not of my interest.
Shoni, do you have anything you want to add or say?
Not really. I already spoken to Aurel for a moment, but two of us have once again agreed that I will continue to support you in your journey, and if that means fighting the Gilded Order, then I will do so. However, I do not personally have a stake in the matter, other than a friend. But in regards to alliances, of course, we are in a partnership, and that does technically automatically come with the assistance of, well, Aurel and his two supporters.
Who are your two supporters? I know you went in with, it was you and two others. I believe one was a woman and she carried Shoni for a while before I guess you took up arms with him.
Yeah. Technically, that is not the quite accurate interpretation of the turn of events that occurred, but yes, we have traded off over the millennia on who would take charge, while the others could live a little, as Shoni has told us to do. It is quite work doing what we do. But as far as who my fellow brethren are, well, why would I tell you that when they could tell you themselves? And I have a inkling of an idea that will occur relatively soon.
So do you mean to tell me I've got 3 old people stalking me at all times?
Well, none of us are, by your definition, old in physical nature. I am the oldest of the 3.
You
I
have
am
lived as
young.
long or as close to Shoni. You're fucking old.
Thank you. I appreciate the sentiment. Preserve the term seasoned and wise, experienced.
Still, you never answered. Do I have 2 other individuals who are constantly stalking me?
Oh, they're not stalking you. I'm the only one following you around as of yet. I have periodically relayed information to my fellow brethren, but they vaguely are aware of what's going on, that you have reactivated the Emperor to his fullest extent. But that is the last we spoke.
Then why should I expect to hear from them shortly?
Well, I suppose you'll find out, won't you?
You know, I'd hope after the few years we've known each other, you'd be a little more less cryptic and helpful in your wisdom.
My wisdom is all about keeping secrets. Who knows what is much more powerful than what itself.
What?
It's an old proverb. I don't fully understand it, it's just something we recite. It means, though, that the control of information is more valuable than the information itself, in often cases.
If you can't give me information on your friends, could you at least tell me who my father was to you?
That I can answer. Jorgok and I, we had some good times. I actually helped him win a chili cook-off when we were down in the first layer of Avernus. It was quite an experience. I had not actually visited the Nine Hells in several millennia prior to that, so I did have a good time.
So you told me that actually happened? The plaque in his office wasn't just for
Yes.
show?
Yes, your mother did not just create that for the hell of it. No, he actually won. Though he did not actually beat the devil himself. That was a bit of a misnomer, but I believe he beat Bell, if I can recall correctly.
Bell?
Yes, the Archdevil.
Not familiar with them. I've only heard of...
That's good. I wouldn't expect you to be familiar with him. But your father and I were friends. Good ones at that. And to be quite honest, when you were born, your father had petitioned me, I suppose, to take a look after you, which at the time didn't quite fit what I was working on. But knowing now what I do, and if I could go back and change things, I would have done it differently. Perhaps I could have spared the loss of a friend and the loss of your father.
Why would he ask you to take...
Your father... I almost wonder if he knew that you were going to find yourself in a predicament one day. I don't think he knew it was this predicament. I think he foresaw you taking up where he left off in Phyrexia and managing the peace between the houses and the citizens there. But he foresaw a predicament. Nonetheless, the work he did was, of course, difficult.
Can you rewind like 30 seconds? I had a stroke and everything froze.
Yes, try not having an aneurysm. That would be very bad.
I need to
I
see the
think,
doctor about that.
yes, I'm supposed you would. But I think your father foresaw that you would be handling the business in Phyrexia where he left off. I don't think he knew that this would have happened. I don't think anyone could have foreseen that. But I do believe that the point of fact is the same, in that you were trying to represent the people and justice. Those two things are the belief of Emperor Shoni and also of me and my brethren. The clay arm attempted to take that away when they imprisoned Shoni in his prison as of yet. And I believe Shoni, after learning what happened to your father, thought it would be an adventure to support you. So I agreed. And the two of us handed him off to you, I should say, in Kalethal. And you know the rest of the story from there. I've been keeping a watchful eye on you, but I have not interfered with your business other than when you have sought me out, and intentionally so, as Shoni has asked that each of the bearers and wielders of the blade prove their own worth, which I believe you've done. That is how you've gotten him to this point.
So you also knew my father, Shoni?
Not like Arel did. I knew of him. But we were not acquaintances like him and Arel were.
I think I should just stop talking to you because every time I talk to you, I just keep learning things I don't like.
Well, you did stop talking to me for some time, and you did fine.
I was referring to Aurel. If I stopped talking to you because I was worried that the Good Order could spy on us, and that's nothing compared to you cutting off ties or communications for over like what 2-3 months.
To be fair, we tried to communicate with you, well, to Shoni specifically, but it was not successful. You seem to have vanished somewhere where even magic wouldn't reach to that degree, which happens sometimes. So I wasn't particularly worried about that, more just worried about your safety in general and the safety of Shoni. There was a point in time that I had feared the clay arm had found you. But before I jumped to spontaneous conclusions, I thought it best to seek you out in your place of residence, and sure enough, with a little patience, I found you here. I do apologize for lapses in communication, but again, Shoni has always wanted it to be your story, your adventure, and your justice, not mine.
That makes sense, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense.
Many things in life are exactly like that.
Well, I should probably get back going to the group here soon. Before I leave, is there any information, tips, wisdom we can give about how my father did what he did in Phyrexia?
Your father was a champion of the people, not a champion of alliances. Your father pitched ideas to the nobles of Phyrexia that made him indispensable. it was not the first time that the citizens of Phyrexia had entirely taken up strike against their leadership. And it was not the first time that the leadership were at odds with each other on how to handle the matter. When your father proposed a way to continue to keep the citizens working, and therefore keep the houses, the nobles, satisfied with their income, I suppose, he became an intermediate voice between the citizens of Phyrexia and the echelon that leads it. It is no easy task to accomplish that. It takes a lot of persuasion, a lot of charismatic behavior, and a lot of compromises that I think your father would not have preferred to make. None that compromised his morals, but compromises nonetheless. Agreements to give both sides what they wanted, and to give each noble house what they wanted. Unfortunately, when your father died, that intermediary was lost, and the houses went back to their bickering, and the citizens became once again oppressed by the rulers. They didn't have anybody that was willing to stand up in the stead of your father. So, I don't know if that answers your question, but that is what happened from my end.
Was kind of hoping for like a large document that I could just read over and research, but I guess they'll do.
I do not keep those large documents on person, but I'm sure there are people in the world of Alethea that do. So, if you keep exploring around, I'm sure you'll eventually uncover secrets that even I don't know.
Well, it was nice talking to you again. Even if you still like hiding stuff and not telling me everything. Because now I gotta look forward to two random people I've never met before revealing themselves to me. Because that's just lovely.
But I'm sure it'll go just fine.
I hope so.
Well, until we speak again, I'll be here
Oh, no.
making mutton chops, so.
You know, you're welcome to come by our home. Not just sitting out here posing as a tradesman. Unless
I might
she's
just
gonna
do
eat,
that too.
unless she's going to eat some of our employees.
I might just pay you a visit. But, for now, I will keep my distance until it is required that change. Plus, it's not that far of a walk anyway. So,
Until next time, old woman.
until next time, Vellmon. And you are back in the place you left, mutton chop in hand, which didn't go with you whenever you took it. And the cart is still there. And once again, the old, elderly human man is back to tending as if nothing has happened. And we cut back to... Oh, go ahead.
And I return to the chateau.
Okay, great. And we cut back to Altrix at the Coastal Chateau, speaking of that. Altrix, as you have begun to walk to the library here in the Coastal Chateau, you are pulled aside in the hallway by your mother.
Nope.
Altrix,
Yes.
do you have a moment?
I suppose.
And she pushes the door open into your room and pulls you inside. I want to apologize. I guess I failed you in a way. I never in my life have I endured watching one of my children die. I felt like my heart was ripped out. And I mourned you for 12 agonizing hours. And when you came back, I was stunned, speechless, even, to the point that I didn't know what to say to you. I didn't know if I was angry or just confused or sad or some combination of all of the above. But I shouldn't have waited all this time to come back to speak to you. I don't think you're any different than when you left. You did die, that did happen. But you still seem to be the same focused son that I've always had. I think, tried to stay out of your way a little bit. You seem quite focused. I wish I could say the same, that your father had that same opinion, but he doesn't. But I was tired of pretending that you were not my child. You will always be my child, no matter what. So I'm sorry for a delay in communication.
Ma, it's honestly not a problem. It's fine. Look, I'm not exactly sure what happened while I was gone, but I know it's hard and whatnot. And Dad, he's never been particularly understanding of me of any regard, so I'm not gonna be surprised by that. I guess thanks for, talking to me about this, but so long as I am still alive, there's plenty work to do.
And I understand that. I was just like you at one point. And I think in a lot of ways I still am. That is the very reason we went to Hackathon, and I put you and all of your friends through hell, I think. But despite everyone's shared opinion that perhaps Hackathon was not what they were hoping for, it was more than I could have hoped for. Aside from the fact of the death and resurrection of you.
Well, there were plenty of tragedies that day. We did almost cause an apocalypse.
We did.
I say we would maybe return with a more suited team at some point.
I think that would be wise.
Alas, until then, I think it is honestly best we keep it to ourselves, at least till we can get things situated here. We don't have to worry about others trying to, I don't know. It's mostly ruins. There's still plenty to be had. Plenty of dangers, but I think the operation to acquire some of those dangers would be large enough that we have time. I think the most pressing matter were the anchors.
I'm inclined to agree. with one conjecture. It might not be a big deal to you, but one day, if you ever choose to pursue the same footsteps that I have and have a family, I firmly believe that your opinions on the matter of the relationship with your children, alive or dead, means a great deal. And to technically correct your opinions about your father, he was not upset, I suppose, that of the distance between you and him. He was upset that I didn't tell him you died, which I perhaps regret.
Well, to be honest, I'm here, so what's it? At least as far as he is aware, there's not much of a difference, I suppose. I'm sure, different for you, but...
No, you're right. Your father, has always been a, I suppose, distant supporter. He's not good at initiating the heart-to-hearts.
No.
But that doesn't mean that he wouldn't enjoy one. So maybe at some point, sit down with him and have a chat. But that's up to you to decide, and I won't attempt to sway you either way. I know you're very busy, and I know that you are doing the right things for the right reasons. So I will not stand in your way. I will stand by to assist you, as I have tried to always do.
Well, that being said, I do have some things to take care of today, especially before the meeting.
Sure.
I guess I could, if you'd be willing to help me out with this real quick, think it's time for a bit of a test run, so to speak.
All right. What do you need?
And Altrix will, having finally crafted this thing I've been wanting the entire damn game.
Sure.
Will don his wings unit.
That is a contraption, I suppose.
Yes, as a pair of tanks filled with this blue liquid fire that is running a little short on at this time, but he still has a significant backlog of it. As a pair of canvas wings sprout out, and I will essentially use my reflavored broom of flying and take off towards the university.
Sure. She leads you outside before you do that, but yes.
Roof.
Yeah, straight through the roof of the house. Yep. And she will just kind of admire as you take off. Okay. Well,
isn't the library on like a top floor of the Claremont University?
It's a separate building.
Yeah.
It's four stories of a separate building.
Going in straight to the fourth story.
Okay, got it. Yes, and as you soar across the city skyline of Provenere, Altrix, what's it like flying on your own, not in an airship, and as a dragonborn, not having wings? What's it like soaring for you?
As he kind of ascends and kind of gets his bearings for a moment, maintaining balance, it almost comes second nature to him, as this is something he has envisioned since he was a child. When he was but a wee boy. The fact that he was a dragon that could not fly rather bothered him. And spent many a nights wondering about the possibilities what could be done. And now that he is here in the skies, defying gravity, the worn incendiary negation of gravity system keeps him aloft, and it feels right.
And as all of that time has passed, you are proof that perhaps with determination and a lot of hard work, just about anything is possible. As you crash through the 4th-story window of the Clonworth University Library, as the window shatters open and you tumble onto the ground. Didn't quite stick the landing, but that's okay.
Yeah, haven't practiced that.
Yes, and as you pull yourself up, a librarian steps back, a cluster of books in her arms. She's cradling. Oh my, are you all right, sir?
Kind of picking himself up, pulling a shard of glass that's just kind of pressing against in between his skin and armor. Just gets up, hands over 10 gold. That should cover that. Apologies.
Thanks.
Do you have anything about the political history of the Alliance of Provias?
Yes, right this way. And she leads you down to the 3rd floor, but to a bookshelf that has a lot about the Alliance of Provias and the Union of Fenere and their politics, their government, their economy. Just a lot of research has been done, a lot of records.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna go report the window if you need me. She kind of like scurries off.
Well, goodbye stairs.
Sure.
All right.
As you begin to look through these books, if you will give me a D20 roll plus your intelligence modifier.
Raw intelligence. Me not pulling the dice out the box. Well, that dice on. Nat 20.
Wow. Okay. Solid. You are particularly concerned about the political structure of the Alliance of Provias, correct?
Yes, more so how appointments work regarding any political position, large, small. I know that there's a lot of theology to it, so I'm looking for stuff that primarily is outside that.
Sure. Unfortunately, with the Alliance of Provias, that at least the higher ups of the government seem that seems to be the whole thing. It goes into extensive detail, confirming basically what Owen had already kind of told you about how each vicarant is allegedly. Now, you know that that's not how it actually works, given the information that you understand. But according to what it says in the books and what the general populace knows, is that the gods, each respective deity, appoints a person at some point, when they're born or throughout their life, to basically take over the role of becoming the vicarant, and then the current vicarant passes the torch on to that individual. And each of the 7 vicarants comprising the Vicari are chosen in that way by divine appointment, so to speak. The Monsignat, the individual that is above them, is also chosen by divine appointment, and the Vicari simply confirm that is the will of the deities as they appoint a new Monsignat. Now, other offices, political figures within the city of Brontero and really beyond that were appointed by the Vicari. They take a vote, or the Monsignat can just executively decide to appoint somebody if it's necessary, but typically that legislative delegation is reserved for the Vicari. The Vicari appoint people like the Glaciarch to oversee Blixhaven. Now, that on its own has some confirmatory testing that has to be done, more of a cultural thing. And a lot of areas within the Alliance of Provias are like that. They have individuals that are kind of pseudo-appointed, but are also they kind of rise to power within their own settlements. Phyrexia, given what you've heard from Vellmon, is a little bit of a special case in the fact that it doesn't have necessarily a governor or a mayor. It has just noble houses. Now, it has a government, but the government is historically non-existent. and that the noble houses basically oversee everything that happens in Phyrexia, and the government is just kind of a figurehead that's just there that doesn't actually have any say-so at all. But when it comes to calling of the Vicari, that is what is handled. Now, all that out of the way. Lore dropping, sorry. In Provenere, because of the uniqueness that has created the city, the Council of Provenere was simply decided not to have any legislative power. They didn't actually make laws. They were instead appointed by the council itself, but the council was initially founded as the most prominent individuals within the city itself. So neither side, Fenere or Provius, appointed people in that particular role. They just agreed, these are the people that we're going to start the city. And then from there, the council grew from the first 5 members into 7, from 7 to 11, and then 11 to 17. And that has kind of been where it's been at for the last several years. So there's a lot more communication that has to happen between Provius and Fenere in order for governmental decisions regarding Provenere to get instituted. And you can infer, based on what you know, what happened with the Gilded Order, or really what happened with the Supervisory before that, is that's exactly what happened. Each side sent their own delegates that collectively comprised 4 people. They made decisions. Those decisions reflected the wills of both nations, and thus was instituted the birth of the Gilded Order. And that's kind of where we are today.
Gotcha.
With a nat 20, though, since I will reward that, you may ask one very specific follow-up question. I will do the absolute best with what would be recorded in these records to answer the question.
What are there any instances of someone being appointed to a governmental position in Provius? You know, typically, again, like a governor equivalent of sorts, where the person who was appointed had little to no relation to the church, but more so was simply appointed by their relation to the state.
Yes. The Glaciarch is historically considered a kind of repeating figure that is less concerned with the work of the church and more arises within a society of people that kind of support that individual, that the Vicari basically take as an unofficial nomination, and then confirm that appointment. But the Glaciarch is historically not a overtly faithful member of any one of the churches, as Blixhaven is considered more of its own kind of culture in itself.
Gotcha.
So it definitely does exist.
That is enough to get started.
And with that, as the hours draw closer, all of you reconvene at the Coastal Chateau to prepare for the evening ahead. So, I will let all of you decide if you're going to eat dinner, I suppose, before you attend or not. But nonetheless, you can all convene in the dining room and decide what exactly the play is here for the Shalehouse. So,
Did the invitation say whether or not food was going to be served?
it did not.
Bummer.
Although I think... Paloma, make an general intelligence check for me.
Oh, shoot.
Gosh,
Whisper.
Anna!
And we're
Where's the
like
dice?
almost 2 hours into the session. Dice out.
to roll yet.
That's true, she hasn't rolled anything. Very valid.
Yeah, but it's almost like you should have shown up assuming that would happen at some point.
Fuck off! I forgot.
She's doing other busy things. Don't worry, Anna, I'll defend you.
Alright.
You're only defending her because she holds your stream at hostage.
5.
No, she
Does
holds
have
me
power.
hostage. Oh, 5? Okay. Paloma, you think about it and you're like, yeah, food will probably be served, right, at a secret meeting? That's what you come to.
What's for dinner? Here.
Here, let's see. Jake.
Who's Jake?
No, Jake the person, not Zeiros. Jake. Jake, tell me a main course Just give me any main course.
I realized I was muted.
Yeah.
Steak.
Steak. All right, steak. Cole, give me a side.
Green beans.
Green beans. All right. Jared, give me a dessert. Oh, he's gone. Owens, give me a dessert.
Horse.
Blonde.
Horse. Horse is the dessert.
Blonde.
Horse.
Horse flan. Okay, got it.
Horse
We're
blonde.
gonna do
Oh.
flan in the shape of a horse.
Okay,
that's
that's
what
much
I can do.
better.
Okay.
Nope, made of
Um,
horse.
No, not made of horse.
That's not
Anyway,
how
that's
flan
what's being
works.
served. No, it's not. There's steak as the
Made
main
of
course,
horse milk.
green beans as the side, and horse-shaped flan, not horse-made flan, served for dessert.
Is there a vegetarian option?
Yes,
The horse.
The blonde.
There is vegetable stew instead of steak being served.
I will take the stew.
Copy that.
I thought you were about to say cauliflower steak, and I was gonna stab you.
Cauliflower
Ugh,
steak.
cauliflower steak?
It's like a bean burger or something. Well,
Crazy.
You're telling me a horse?
Yeah, it
made
can't be
this
like a
flan?
black bean.
black bean.
Black
A
bean
horse
steak.
made this flan.
It's horse.
Was it cricket?
Cricket. Always here. No, cricket's not here, but cricket always there in our memory. Well, as all of you
Lest we
sit down
forget.
to eat, lest you forget. Yes, all of you sit down for dinner to eat here. Although Paloma is adamant that dinner will be served when you get there, but whatever.
She'll eat.
Guess you can
She'll
eat
eat here
twice.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, you can eat twice. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Sure.
Second dinner.
So we'll say, I'll give you all roughly in-game time, about 30 minutes to discuss anything you need to before you need to depart to make it to the Shalehouse by 8:17 p.m. So there's any kind of last-minute
yeah.
planning that needs to occur. This is the time
Zeros
to do it.
will say, yeah, I talked to one of the churches and kind of walked around and listened to the others. The churches are definitely on the side of the government. Of
Well,
staying with, because of their religious leaders.
That's done.
well,
That would make sense
fortunately-
for them to try to keep power.
Fortunately, I did my own digging, and we will not necessarily need the church in our endeavors. However, again, I understand that it is useful, but not having their support will not ruin us.
Would it be a bad idea though to make them an enemy?
Probably
Or making any enemies is a bad idea.
Yeah.
that.
How do you make an enemy of a church?
Go against the
Uh,
church.
Well,
Insult their god, be a god that their god hates.
Didn't Owen'll do that?
yeah.
Oh no, I've done lots of things.
I will say, I think also the main thing is, like, for instance, Helm going against, like, protection. You know, they're going to protect the people and make sure everyone's okay. So as long as we're not, like, hurting people, they might not be necessarily part of the thing. But
Well, I don't
We
know.
don't-
Aren't the
I don't know.
gods fairly hands off now? Not really doing anything unless it's absolutely suits them. That was kind of the whole deal like 20 years ago or 30 years ago. I can't remember.
I mean, I assume so. But I'm not saying necessarily the god themselves. I'm talking about, like, we don't know how the church itself will actually enact things.
Well, but would Helm support the church and support the Guild Order when they're actively doing harm and not protection?
I mean,
I would assume not, but they
I think that
trust
depends
their vicarant. It's the thing
what
that
you
they trust their
define.
vicarant, and we don't. You know, their vicarant is corrupt, so
Gotcha.
Well,
that's the
considering
issue.
Helm, the original heir, or I guess leader of the church for Helm, was murdered by order of the vicarant of Helm for his own son to be put in that position. So it tells me Helm doesn't really give a crap considering nothing seems to have happened
That's true.
because of that.
Maybe. I don't know.
Hmm.
That may not necessarily be true. It may also just be, hey, this is a deity who is removed from this stuff. They removed themselves from this. And also, not just because the people in the church do bad things does not necessarily mean the deity itself is bad.
Well, he sure has my vote. Alright. Well, regardless, deities or not, whatever they're not going to be helping us. So, let's rely on the things we can get help from, namely,
Indeed.
whoever it is we're meeting tonight.
So I did try to establish us to have a good relationship with the house of Esquire Frozen.
Well,
I don't know if that'll help or not.
Isn't that the one that got bombed and you stole the alcohol
Yeah.
from?
Maybe. There was a crater outside the house again. Kind of gave me
have they
like
not
a big
filled that?
headache. No, they didn't. Yeah.
Well, that's not our problem. Okay. Well,
I tried reaching out to Aurel for help. He pretty much said, sucks, but if you really truly need help, then I'll probably possibly come in and help.
Wonderful.
So,
well,
yeah.
that's an answer, I suppose. Okay. Well, you know what?
And then apparently I'll be meeting two of his very close friends that helped raid Akadon shortly.
Oh.
Okay, we'll unpack that one later. Okay.
I have a question before we get too far into this. Would it be a good idea for us to form a plan for tonight? Maybe like 3 or 4 of us go in, 2 of us stay out, kind of deal.
I don't
It's
think
not
so.
Not a bad
We just
idea.
all go in and just what happens.
I mean, if we leave some outside, they're going to have to either be far away to the point where if a problem occurs, they won't be able to reach us in time, or rather, they'll be out of it for a bit. And if they're close outside, then perhaps they will be a little distrusting of us.
Is there anyone here who knows that they've got a bad rap with any of the houses?
I mean,
I wouldn't say a bad rap, but considering I've been doing business with the houses, I think definitely I should go in.
Okay.
I believe the only ones I have a negative reputation with would be Steel and Thundelver, but we're not meeting them
Alright,
tonight.
you did
so-
rug one of them. Well, we
Yes,
don't know exactly
and-
who's
I forgot
gonna
about
be
that.
there.
Oh.
Yeah, but he kind of deserved it. Being very rude.
Didn't he just tell you to get out from his shop?
Unreasonably so. Anyway,
Hmm.
I would
Press
say
X to doubt.
a stance of solidarity may be beneficial. Granted, anyone is free to make their own decision. But again, should things go south, I would like it knowing that all of you are there to watch my back and me to watch yours.
By the sounds of it, sounds like you're the only one who's got a bad reputation with any house, but likely, assuming the information is correct, only those who oppose the Gilded Order will be there. So Steel and Thundover are likely not going to be an issue.
Yes.
So,
As I understand it,
unless...
their reputation would only be positive considering we helped them. They know of our, at least, association with Mox Flynn and Madame Genorm, though I'm sure they don't know much beyond that.
Well, I think it's not a bad idea if we're all there. Unless someone has been off on some extravagant tale of their own and did something really bad that they wish to share.
So,
Speak
that
now
you
or forever
mention it.
hold your peace. God damn it, Paloma.
Who did you swindle this time?
No
Who
one.
didn't she swindle?
No one yet.
That's true. No, okay. Darn.
okay. Well, and we'll add that to the things to unpack later as well. For
Well-
now, does anyone oppose the idea of going in all as one?
I
Unless
mean,
they
if
have
all
a...
of us go in all as one, we'll be able to protect each other better, I feel. Though, having eyes on the outs... Because also the whole thing that we don't really have a way to communicate the outside, being that sending and message are kind of...
I can have
not
Shoni
available.
outside.
I was gonna say we do have Shoni who can talk to all of us,
Ooh.
and it's a little clunky him having to be the middleman, but
I mean,
Not
well,
a bad
if
idea.
I may, we have this, and I will kind of reach into my bag and pull out Cannibal, who's now wearing a tiny little harness and a thing that kind of attaches to his head. He can relay information to me now. Again, I've been very busy.
Oh,
Oh,
wait.
Can he speak to you, or is it like person approaching? Like,
is it
he
like
can
a-
voice
single description.
if need be.
did you
How long
invent
is
a
this?
microphone and then immediately strap one to Cannibal's head?
Let me double check the exact word.
No,
of
it's
this.
one of those
It's all
dog
10
collars from Up that translate their thoughts
Oh my god, yes.
into words.
And cannibals speak. That's what we need to know.
No.
Aw.
Question of the hour.
He's just
Unfortunate.
horse.
Well,
Horse.
He just has
I was
food.
hoping scrying lasted a little longer than it. Oh wait, no, I could do that though. I could technically stay outside and use spells to keep track of y'all. I have scrying,
I have-
spectral scouts, and other things like
I
that.
have a feeling scrying in on the meeting is a horrible idea.
Yeah, and they'll
Mhm.
probably be able to tell. Given all the things
Probably.
everyone's capable of tracking.
I was saying like, I could also instead keep it outside and just keep an eye on things outside.
Keeping
a
an eye
little
on
bit, but
things
it
outside
only lasts 10
probably
minutes.
isn't bad. Yeah, only 10 minutes, and you have to cast it in there, and I assume it requires somatic components.
Scrying does, yeah, scrying does, and
Yeah, so you'd have to be trying to cast a spell right in front of everyone and be like, no, I promise, I'm just keeping an eye out.
yeah, unfortunately they all are. Yep, never mind. Okay.
Probably just be best for either Shoni, Cannibal, or both to fly around outside and keep an eye out for anything.
Yes.
What about?
yeah.
Or this might be a little bit controversial. But what about the little Altrixes, like the brother and sister?
You're gonna put the children in what?
They're old
I'm
enough.
saying to be a scout, and I know that at least one of them has gotten lots of training.
Hey,
in the past couple
Pura,
months.
I appreciate the idea. No.
Okay. I mean, I
Or
want
what?
to step on your toes, man. I
Nine
just
We are
13?
not
That was an
bringing
option.
them into this.
They're old enough to engage in political espionage.
I'd rather they
Just
didn't.
because you're committing acts
They
of
don't know what a
terrorism
politic
you
is.
did doesn't mean that they need to.
I am figuring out this whole government thing as we go. We don't need to be roping those two into it.
I think we already kind of have our idea of just having Shoni and Cannibal outside as our watch guards, and we are inside doing stuff, because I think that sounds pretty good to me. I could leave a thing outside for a little bit. I wish we could just use like able to just continue using spell slots to just extend like length of things.
You can
Look,
I really don't think we
How
need
about-
Yeah, I mean-
scrying things.
Here's the thing.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say Spectral Scout because I can keep it out, and it's the thing with Spectral Scout. I can keep it outside and be interactive inside and like pay attention to both.
So can I with Shoni? Shoney acts independently from me.
I mean, the downside is then you don't have Shoney inside.
I don't have him to attack in daylight, but I could still use spells and stuff from him.
Yes. You also... Honestly, I don't think we're going to get ambushed. If we do, and people approach, Cannibal will let us know.
If Cannibal's enough, then I think Cannibal's enough. We only really need one per. Well, yeah.
Simply to let us know if anyone's approaching.
I think we'll be alright.
Then we can act on our own.
Alright.
I can also just go wandering and just wander off.
Alright.
Did we bring any gifts for the different houses?
We don't know the nature of this event, so let's not.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe
If they
be
start
friendly
sex
and be
more
like,
than-
you know,
Look, let me tell you, I hate whenever I get invited over to someone else's place, and then I go there, and they have a gift for me, and I don't have a gift for them, you know?
How
exactly.
many
So maybe we
times
should
did
bring
that
a
happen
gift for
to
them.
You? You grew up in a town with like 12 people.
Okay, it's like
actually quite common.
200. Second of all, like people go, oh, and I wove this for you. And it's like, oh, yeah, oh, that took you 8 hours. I don't have anything. And nor do I have time today because I was busy later. And it's a whole thing, and it's terrible. So let's not be the ones perpetrating that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Though, well, we could just bring the gifts and put in like the bag of holdings and such, and just,
So what
like,
I'm hearing is
not
anytime
give
you
it
want
to
to
them.
annoy Altrix, go and get him a gift.
True.
All right. Do we have anything else to discuss before going?
No. No,
If
so.
things
All
go,
right.
are we going to leave immediately for Elatar Bay? Like, after the meeting?
We will figure that out
Rebel wagoning.
after. I think that depends on how this meeting goes.
I agree. Let us go.
All right.
Let us go. Ha ha ha.
We're all in agreement? Let's go.
Okay. Well, before you all depart from the Coastal Chateau, I will ask, is anybody leaving anything here and not taking it with you?
No, I'm fucking
Why?
kidding up with so much shit.
Yeah, I'm bringing all my stuff with me.
Totally fine. Again, you're welcome to do that. I'm just asking.
Yeah, y'all watch Altrix pulling out stuff you've never seen before, new magic. Miss Man's going to war.
I will leave my bag
I
of
guess
rats
y'all-
here.
Yeah,
Y'all
bag
see
of rats.
Zeiros is
No.
carrying a new amulet and doesn't have like the clothing or any of that stuff anymore.
So he's naked? Ew.
Well, he has a
Uh,
cloak. Well, I have a cloak.
Cloak,
Still.
not-
I have a cloak.
You meant the owlbear.
And you know
I
what?
haven't
Speaking
worn
of that cloak,
clothes
I don't think
since
I've
we
ever
met them.
actually done it. As a bonus action, the cloak starts
Cloak
billowing.
of billowing. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Love it.
Fucking
There you go.
Impressive.
Yeah,
Alright.
I transform back into my like more the humanoid form, the human form, and the cloak starts billowing.
Okay. Well,
Now I just need
All
to
of
learn
you
to
begin.
fly, and then I can have a billowing and fly.
all of you begin to make your way across the city of Provenere, as Anaris is well set at this point. The moon prim, the white, smaller moon overhead, a clear night once again, contrary to the rain that has been. Though clouds are in the distance, and a storm is likely approaching by probably tomorrow, at least the evening is clear. That gives you full view of the planetary rings overhead. As you walk through the streets, people make commentary about it. It's still something that people are finding shocking, despite that it's been a week and a half since this appeared. People still make side comments about it. But as you move from district to
Zeiros.
district in the city of Provenance, oh, go ahead.
Zeiros gives a little remark while we're walking. It's like, hee. My work is famous now.
There you go. And as you travel from district to district, make your way through the old ward, the older portion of the city of Provenere, and then to the Bronze Borough, where many of you started this adventure quite some time ago, and finally into the southern outer residential district, finding yourself on a series of winding and relatively open alleys that kind of weave between buildings, snaking their way across before you find yourself at the outskirts, about 100 feet or so from the front door, of a small one-story, as it appears, light off-white colored building in thatched roof and gray shale walls. This annex here. It is dimly lit. It is quiet. There, unlike further inside the city, there's almost no one present. In fact, the building itself practically looks closed. And as all of you stand here for a moment, all of you can make a perception check, if you will.
This is
Should I
huge.
use
I
one
get to
of
roll
my
with
dice?
advantage.
That's a nat 20. This dice, I think, has rolled like 15 nat 20s. This dice might be. I didn't even need to test this dice.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What are we doing?
Perception check.
Oh, lovely.
Oh.
Well,
No.
is this sight based?
No, just general perception.
Okay.
I didn't buy this. I kind of found it, but it's this new set of metal dice.
Oh, nice. How witty.
Oh,
19.
wow. Nat 20.
Mod 20.
Really?
Yo!
Nat 20, mod
No,
20.
no, I'm kidding.
Two-
It's an 11.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Man,
okay.
I was feeling really cool with my 19.
Okay.
Yeah, I got
19.
mine's a 28 with the nat 20.
Okay, Vellmon, what'd you get?
Nat 20.
Okay, there you go. And Paloma,
23.
23. Okay, good across the board, except for maybe Pura. But
As usual.
as usual, yes, all of you except for Pura, again, can tell that there is no footfall. You do not hear any clanking of metal armor, any Gilded Order members anywhere nearby. In fact, you don't hear anybody nearby. You don't hear any whispering from inside the building. There's no lights that you can tell. And those of you that can see, so everyone except for Rancor in this particular moment, can actually see that the front of the building has a closed sign on it. It's very small from this distance, but it does say closed indefinitely. That is kind of tacked or nailed to the front wooden door. The building doesn't... It's hard to tell at this distance that it is locked, but with the natural 20, I think all of you can infer that it is a locked building. And you honestly begin to wonder if you have come to the right place or not. At least you were wondering until... Hello. Comes from behind all of you. And we'll go ahead and take our break right there. So, don't go anywhere. We'll see you shortly. Be back soon after this intermission. and welcome back. Last we left off, a voice unexpected appears behind Lorem Ipsum, sourcing, as all of you turn into the shadows to find the silhouette of a hooded figure approaching, not but probably 15 feet As all of you are staring forward at the Shalehouse, this individual has crept up on you quietly. So, with a hello, and I will let all of you react from there.
Are you an old man or are you following me? Or woman? Are you an old person?
No.
I mean, I would turn around and see who it is.
Sure. And again, all you can see is a cloaked figure at the moment. You do not see any distinguishing facial features at all.
What does your
Can I
voice
Are
sound
you
like?
who we are supposed to meet?
And there is a moment of pause as this individual pulls their hood back, revealing the purplish skin of an individual that all of you except for Zeiros has encountered before. This is Relzar Kinper. Lorem
This was
Ipsum.
the man we met on our very first night, correct?
Yes, this is correct.
Not first night, but
Well, 626.
Well-
Yes.
yes.
I thought it was strange of our meeting at such an odd time.
I didn't schedule the meeting, but I assume that since you know by the meeting, you are here for it?
Maybe.
I mean, I don't
Well,
think we're just strolling by.
Do you have an invitation?
Da.
Everyone turns to Pura.
As we all kind of look at Pura.
It's a valid question. Do you?
You have
Pura, I swear to God.
an invitation.
But first, I want to see his invitation first.
That's not how it's gonna go.
Pura,
And you see,
Pura,
and you
that's
see
not-
him raising a hand as if he's about to cast a spell. So
Pura, he
Fine,
probably wrote
fine.
us the invitation.
I take the stink invitation out and show it to the guy.
he will walk up to you and take it from your hand slowly, still having a hand raised as he looks it over. Interesting. He hands it back to you. And he begins to kind of step through your group, kind of walking, just kind of parting the two of you, each half of your group, I should say, and passes by, motioning with his hand to follow him as he says, I knew Janorum was right to trust all of you. And motions again for you to follow him as he approaches the closed and dimly lit building.
Well, he's jumping to conclusions.
I don't like him.
But
Talks-
he is.
but
good
he gave
friends
us a
with the
job.
Lion Man, and Lion
Talks
Man is
to-
great.
He show us his invitation. I'm like,
I don't think he needs to be invited here.
okay. Pyrrha's gonna take out his flask and just sip it in a very disapproving way.
Sure. Great.
All right.
And all of you follow Relzar to the front door. You notice that he seems to be very on edge as he places a hand on the door, turning back to look at all of you, and then past you as he almost scans rooftops of buildings, scans alleyways to see that and make sure that you are not being followed by anybody. When he thinks the coast is clear, he pushes the door open ever so slightly and motions for you to follow quietly with a finger over his lips. He leads you inside a dark building. From there, it is old. It is often in disarray. It looks cleaned out and picked through. There are offices that have empty desks on them, no files, no books, no decorations at all. It seems to be heavily unused for quite some time. And he leads you kind of down the main hallway, takes a left into an offshoot hallway, and from there stops to look at the surroundings again before reaching up and pulling a small little string that is dangling from the roof and pull it down as an attic stairwell descends on its hinges. And then he begins to climb up. And whoever is the last person in your group he is going to speak to you particularly, please pull this up on your way up.
and I attempt to pull it up, because I would have gone last, because I would probably have to, like, full body climb these stairs.
Sure, that's totally fine. Yes, you can pull it up. Again, it's on springs and hinges, so it's easy to pull up.
Oh, it's easy, even with a 9 strength.
Yes, you can do it. The average
Okay.
person can do it, so you could. Yes.
I'm less than average.
As all of you ascend into the attic space of this building, you find that there is whispering that you can hear now. A scene lit by low lamplight, oil lanterns burning and flickering ever so slightly, hidden with shades over them to keep just enough light in the room without any other obvious signs of being inhabited or occupied aware. But as all of you ascend after Relzar, and as the attic door creaks up as Sizik pulls the door shut behind all of you, the dust permeates the atmosphere. Again, this is a place that is unused, unoccupied for quite some time, and the whispers of this group abruptly end as there is a hushed silence as all of you come into view of a collection of people. Relzar walks forward and takes a seat at the end of the right side of the table. And then there is a moment of pause as you can all make out individual figures. Aside from Relzar, you can see an owl Aarakocra sitting on the other end. That is Dr. Zelak Chris, that most of you have encountered before.
Hey, Mario.
A Luxodon gentleman sits in the middle. That is Esquire Roran, assumably. A human female sits to his left. That is Farmer Raya Wheatflow. A green orc sits to his right. That is Miss Bolar Bladebreaker. Miss Ellis Berdier, the drow female, and her presumed daughter, another drow female, Lydia Berdier, sit both to the right of Miss Bolar. The cactus, Sir Pricklesworth Balmiante Esquire III, is to the left of Farmer Raya Wheatflow. And then on the opposite end, sitting between Dr. Chris and the Berdiers, is Wesley and Evelyn McKinnon, the half-elf children of the late McKinnons at the legal firm. And then between Sir Pricklesworth Balmiante Esquire III and Relzar, where he takes his seat, is a familiar face to all of you, including Zeiros, the red dragonborn pompous shop owner, Madame Lepori. So, as all of you stand in this space, again, in almost dead silent, the only sound being broken by the flickering of the dim oil lamplight, a stern voice breaks the atmosphere first. Who are you, and who invited you to this interpretation? And then there is
says that.
That is Esquire Roaring. And then there is a follow-up with, who are these people? I do not know who invited you. And all eyes kind of scan over you as whoever of your group would like to be the first to speak.
Well, we can answer one of those. We are Lorem Ipsum, and I am Altrix.
And we got an invitation.
We currently reside in the coastal chateau and have done the business with a bunch of your houses.
There is kind of hushed whispers that break out across their group. A lot of them, you can tell, can recognize you, at least having some kind of encounter with you in the past, whether unofficial or official. Madame Lepori, most familiar with all of you just from doing business on the day-to-day. This is a interesting turn of events. I would not have expected this evening. And then from the opposite end of the table, the voice of Dr. Zluck Chris, as the hush whispers begin to die out. I invited them. I was not quite sure who these people are in exact fashion, but I do know that Madame de Norum put a great deal of trust in these individuals. I cannot vouch for her decision-making, but I can vouch for her as a friend. I would very much like to see if these individuals are trustworthy and able to help our cause. And judging by their invitation, acceptance, seems that they are interested in the same. And the rest of the group, again, returns to their hushed whispers, kind of whispering back and forth to each other. But they begin to look back up to you. Evelyn McKinnon smiles at you, Sizik, particularly. Well, I think regardless of how they got here, I think it is important that they are here nonetheless. So, I think we have a lot of business to discuss, but I think we should now change our agenda to first discuss these individuals. So, Lorem Ipsum, for those of you that do not know who we are, or us, you, please introduce all of yourselves.
Well, that's Altrix. He told you. I'm Paloma. I also told you. This is Sizik and Rancor. Sorry, Vellmon and Zeiros, and this is Pura. And there's also 2 other people who are not here.
Hi.
Very well. As Wesley McKinnon begins to speak. I suppose that is fair enough. So, how much do you know about us?
Quite a bit, maybe? Depends on what exactly
on-
you're referring to.
Elaborate.
All being former members of the council being dismembered, council not doing their job quite like they were supposed to, and ending up in this kind of predicament.
And most pressingly, your at least aligned opinions regarding the current administration.
To clarify, that was, as the farmer Raya Weeflow begins to speak, to clarify, that was what we were getting at. We recognize that you likely know who we are as public figures, or former public figures, but we are more interested in what you are here particularly for, and how much you know about our little arrangement as a group. But yes, to answer your question, we are unequivocally aligned, at least in common interest, about the current situation plaguing the city of Provenary, in that we share a common disdain for it. Yes, I would concur. I do not share any sentiments that beheath the Gilded Order by any means. They are... I hate to use the word in such severity, but they are a disease. Lady Bradier looks at all of you, looks to you, Vellmon, recognizing that you have encountered her in the past. Well, I do not think that we should delay it all. We have much to discuss on this agenda and very little time to do it. So, Lorem Ipsum, if you have any information that would aid upon our discussion, I think it would be wise to share that information before we begin. And if there is any confirmation that you may not, in fact, be betraying us, trust is a very valuable thing in today's economy, and it is very thin and far between.
I think I speak for everyone when I say that we don't have no intentions of betraying any of you. We're not fans of the Gilded Order ourselves. We've already had our own personal run-in with them, only after being back for a very short amount of time. However, I feel like before we get off quite giving ourselves up, I want to know what everyone else's agenda is here.
Right.
Of course, everyone doesn't like the Gilded Order. However, I don't believe everyone here has exactly the exact same ideals and or plans for the city should the Gilded Order be removed.
Relzar speaks up, kind of speaking on behalf of the group at large. That is a fair assumption. Although I will admit that none of us have exactly contemplated or discussed what it would look like without the Gilded Order. We are more trying to adapt and still adapting to an everyday changing environment. Every day our collective houses as he looks to the actual council members and acknowledging that he himself is not one or a former one. And those of us that work alongside them can agree that the Gilded Order has oppressed and tried to repress our shared interest and voices, especially in concerns about their governmental influence that has been steadily increasing across the city in the recent months. I do not speak on behalf of each former council member, as they may delineate their own course of action and stance, but collectively, we all have at least agreed that the Gilded Order is a problem, and unfortunately one that seems to be ever-present that we cannot get rid of, but instead learn to exist within or under, which is why we meet here instead of in a public eye. So, and kind of going down the line, Dr. Chris begins to speak up. Yes, I have voiced my opinions as it has come and gone about the cutting of medical supplies to my clinic, and I said is a bit of a dapper on the situation at large and treating the everyday citizen with their ailments as they present to them. It seems that the Gilded Order does not enjoy the fact that I outwardly at the beginning expressed concerns about increased governmental oversight, and it certainly did not go well when I protested that they not take my supplies away. And yet here they are. I have lost about 80% of my staff over the last 4 months, and are down to running on very small medical providence for the city. So that is mostly my vested interest. Esquire Roran speaks up next. We are very much aligned in the fact that following my brother's death, which I believe all of you played a key role in uncovering the people responsible for actually his murder and the murder of other council members, whether that investigation be closed or ongoing. But my brother left me, along with a few others in this group, with the task of overseeing the Provenary Development Committee, with construction guilds contracted out of Ubenberg. That did not go well with the Gilded Order, and they cut funding entirely to the city's infrastructure prior to our dismantling of the Red Shielders, and then after that it was all downhill from there. The entire funding supply of the city of Provenary, every bit of coin we can think of, has been moved to other projects that are now out of our sight. And we are talking lots and lots of money. So that is my primary concern. My entire staff, in terms of workforce and construction crews, as well as the joint forces of Sir Pricklesworth, can agree at least that it has been a problem in losing staffing members, and we have been trying to, with our current resources, provide for them as best as possible. I could agree on the staffing problem. I didn't think that the Gilded Order would be that concerned about the produce being grown outside city limits, and yet they seem to want to inspect every bit of crop that I have produced in all of the many fields that we harvest from. And given that the harvest is coming close this time of year, their patrols in the outer city have increased. So I'm a little concerned about that. And we also do a great deal of exportation via the Skyport, and I'm sure all of you can infer as well that the Skyport traffic has continued to dwindle, and that has overall hurt the city economy. And there's a long pause for a little while before Miss Bladebreaker speaks up. I just wanted to continue announcing at Chivalry's Round, and that didn't happen. I suppose that's a little bit of an overstatement, though. I also handle a lot of the wood cutting and logging around the city of Provenere. Same thing as the others just said. They have been interfering with supply lines and trade, and also impacting my staffing ability as well.
Did they stop your investigation on that mystery tree thief?
Excuse me?
I remember there being an investigation on missing trees in Provenere. Did you ever stop that investigation of yours? Or
Oh,
no?
yes. To my knowledge, that was a division of the Red Shielders, and that no longer exists. So,
Unfortunate.
unfortunate indeed. She tries to smile. Well, if I do say so myself, I think we can all agree and concur and draw the same conclusions that all of us share a similar interest. I believe that Roran has already done my part. I'm explaining my role in the city's development as well, but that is where we're at. And then I know that McKinnons have a, I suppose, much grimmer detail. Yes, after our parents were murdered, I have attempted to take over the family business of running the legal firm. The Gilded Order commandeered our entire workforce and dismissed them. And therefore, our business is not currently generating any revenue, and there is not a legal firm in the city of Provenere as of yet. Which, how are the citizens to represent themselves when it comes to public court cases if we don't have lawyers to defend them? And as a person who's not particularly a lawyer yet, and he looks to Evelyn, or either one of us, we're in a bit of a predicament. It seems the law is changing, and there's nobody to counteract the change. So, I do think that sums up the houses, at least. So what's your vested interest in the city? Why do you care?
I suppose we each have our own reasons. For me, I like to consider this place my home. My home of before is no longer welcome to me, and this place has given me the desire to be who I am. This Gilded Order seems to be doing everything in their power to ruin everything about this city that I fell in love with.
I am
The second
similar...
note. With
Do you want to go? Do you want me to go?
you go
I'll
for
let
it.
Dan go. I'll let Dan go and then come back to Jared.
I'm of similar mind. My previous home, well, under different circumstances, I no longer reside there. However, I come to appreciate the city, and especially those who take care of my home and my compatriots there. I also have a sort of a sense of responsibility to take up the mantle to try and restore order to the city.
I agree with them about this city being our home. As for me, I specifically want to increase or start a business, I should say, in the city, especially that has to do with alcohol. And these Gilded Order guys are kind of hurting that, and I don't like that.
Been traveling for so long. That's my own home. back in the islands. Felt distant, but this is the first place in a long time that has felt real. But more importantly to me, personally, is this city is filled with good people who do good things, and he'll kind of look to Madame Lepore and nod. The Gilded Order is here, but is not for the people, and they are scum to this city of good folk.
And if those of you that spoke, if you will make a persuasion check, please.
Excuse me. Oh, persuasion.
I'm
In
going
the
to preemptively use a luck point.
You can preempt.
Can I use what's it called? Enhanceability?
You can, but know that if you cast a spell in front of them, they will know that you're casting a
They
spell.
will know. Damn.
Yep.
Okay. Fine.
All right. Rancor got a 22.
I'd say that.
You didn't say 22?
I-
Oh, I'm gonna say 22.
I said preemptively use a luck point, and I'm glad I did because one was a 2, the other was a
Oh, that's
19
Okay.
plus persuasion 24.
Okay, that's where the 2 came from. Got it. All right, Sizik, what you got?
A nat 20 for a 30.
Okay. Altrix, what you got?
Nat 20 for a 24.
Oh my god!
Gracious. All right, Pura, what'd you get? Natural 1?
Gotta balance it out.
What'd you say, Jared?
6.
6.
That's about right.
That's about right. Hey, it's better than an natural 1.
We did say that Pura shouldn't
The
roll.
average is like 15.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Yeah, wasn't that one of our one things that we discussed for a plan? Don't let Pura do talking.
I should have casted it before I walked in. Hindsight.
It's okay. All right, that is a overall 21, and it's yes. Even with Jared weighing down a little bit, it's okay. Well,
The one guy in class who brings down the class average.
Yes, it is apparent that all of you share somewhat of a vested interest, and I suppose, in what we're attempting to accomplish here. So, a little bit about what we have done so far. Obviously, you're aware we have formed some kind of alliance, mostly on the sake of sharing information back and forth to each other, and also protecting our employees, at least for those of us that still have them. We have a source of information on the inside of the Gilded Order that has been helping us to understand the motions of the city, which is why we are a little bit more privy to information that would not be publicized. So I do hope we can share some information with you, and I would assume that you also have information that you would be able to share with us, but I suppose we'll get that. In terms of what we have already discussed, the funding is one of our larger concerns as of yet. Bank shares, taxes, the funding reserve for city infrastructure, the external funding for our higher governments that exists, plus a lot of private coin that is being invested on the what I would call pro-gilded houses, is being moved to a lot of various projects. I'm sure you have noticed the growing amount of military infrastructure within the city of Provenere, new arcane systems, recruitment, gear, security, and as of yet, we have recently learned of a new project, and I believe Relzar will talk on that in a moment, about what he has uncovered in his investigations. So, that is where we stand. Relzar, if you will be so kind. Yes, Esquire. With our contact on the inside of the Gilded Order, we have uncovered that a large amount of city funding, approximately 58% of all of the Gilded Order funding, is going to a dedicated project that we have uncovered is called codenamed the Golden Terrace. We have no idea what that actually entails, but to move that quantity of coin all at once into a project of that size, I can only imagine it is either incredibly detrimental or something far worse. Madame Lepori picks up the conversation from there. I'm also sure you've all noticed that there is a new arcane tracking system in place. That is the Arcane Relay Node Intercept Lattice, or as we've started abbreviating it, ARNIL, ARNIL. Based on my investigations in it particularly, I've come to the conclusion that there has to be 3 points at minimum in the city that is being used to triangulate and locate magical usage across the city. However, unfortunately, I don't know how the system exactly operates yet. It's a little bit difficult to try to observe from the outside. And I also don't know where these 3 points are located at. Now, there could be more than 3, but that it has to be a minimum of 3. I also, go ahead.
Raise his hand and be like, "Is that the one that is based on the blood?"
Yes, that is correct. It requires all magical use in the city to be routed through this intercept lattice.
If we could find out the location of where the blood is stored, would be very beneficial to us, I think.
Pura, make a persuasion check. Okay. You see some eyes kind of get raised across.
Can he get advantage because he knows a thing or two about blood?
That does not help in this case. His knowledge about blood does not impact his ability to present information in a situation like this. But fair try. Pure, you watch, and all of you watch as some eyebrows raise across the group as they're a little intrigued, but nobody presses on it further. They don't necessarily seem to be on board either, but they are at least curious, I should say. I would go to a point to actually note that's another thing we have uncovered that I would actually pass along as warning to all of you, is that we do anticipate, based on how the Gilded Order is moving in their invasion of the privacy of the fellow citizens, both governmental or not, nobility or not, we do anticipate that scrying devices will eventually be placed everywhere. From our understanding, it has already begun happening at some of the public locations, including the bank, the Skyport, Kansara's Keep, the university. They've already tried to institute that, so I would not put it past the fact that sometime in the near future we would like to likely begin to see these scrying devices placed in private areas of meeting, like our homes, and undoubtedly yours as well. It seems that the more that we push against the Gilded Order or even try to undermine their ability to control us or strap us down, that every action is met with a consequence. I do not know how they are gaining information like this so quickly, but I can only assume that it is because they are spying on us at every possible turn. I don't know how they are tracking our magic, but I know it is being tracked, and I also know that they send patrols on the routine basis to our properties, to our business ventures, throughout the city in various housing districts. There is not a single place in the city of Provenere, as it stands, that is safe from the eyes of the Gilded Order. At least, it would likely be the truth eventually.
What legal authority do they have to make such decisions on top of a hat? Because the dignitaries have all fled to their respective countries to deal with pressing matters. So who gives the go-ahead for such things?
It was the initial idea proposed by Admiral Thicket, but it was supported by Vikrant Okaroba and Vikrant Azov. The only person that did not support the creation of the Gilded Order was Senator Miletus. However, he seems to, maybe, at least from our perspective, taken some kind of agreement because ultimately they were able to institute it anyway. Now, I'm not sure if that is because they had a 75% majority that was able to just vote on a matter and do such a thing, or if eventually Senator Miletus gave in to some kind of deal. I don't know, and I don't want to speculate on that. We only can deal in facts at this particular hour. The legal side, though, from my bare understanding, is that the supervisory, though the short time it existed, had full authoritarian control over the city of Provenere. They stripped all of us of our ability as a council. They dismantled all the projects we were working on, cut out our salaries, cut out our staffing salaries, and then they began to redirect and replace us. So rest assured, the Council of Provenere still functionally exists. It is simply in the hands of the Gilded Order at this point. So that is the new council. They have just swapped out our ability to make decisions and replaced it with a government that seems to have legislative power, at least within the city walls or city boundaries. I don't know why the overseeing governments of Provias and Feneri would grant that authority, but they were incredibly displeased by the handling of the Council of Provenere in, well, several instances actually over the last several years that they cited, but more recently, the events that happened 4 months ago with the Take Flight Festival and the terrorist attacks and bombings of the city. Coupling that with the murders of the council, they did not believe that the government protection was sufficient for the people of Provenere, and thus decided that they would try it themselves. So that is where we're left on the legal matter. So, unfortunately, I have looked into the technicalities of the law, and they are acting on full authority of the Monsignat, the Vicari, the Aquatoria, and the Chancellor. They can do just about whatever they want, so much as it does not directly cause harm to the citizens, which they have not done, technically. Even though one could argue that the invasion of privacy is harm, it is not in the law that is illegal. So,
does that law only apply to Provenere or to their respective countries as well?
To our understanding, it only applies to the city of Provenere, though Relzar, at our last meeting, did present some information that was a little bit more alarming, that the Gilded Order has now full jurisdictional rights, if needed, and requested by respective governments, to operate in any area of either nation, if necessary. So far that hasn't happened yet, to our knowledge, but at this point.
Do you all have a general understanding or conservative estimate on the populace's opinions of the Gilded Order?
Terrible. It's actually terrible.
Percentage? Can you give me a percentage of how many are against the Gilded Order, roughly?
That's hard to say, technically, but if I had to estimate, I would 60% probably are anti-Gilded Order. The issue that we're facing is that the Gilded Order doesn't necessarily seem to care about the public opinion. That doesn't seem that doesn't affect their decision making. Instead, they have backing from governments above us, and they also have backing of half of the government that existed before them. And with all of that in private investing that is happening, and the just the support from a legal side, the support from a financial side, our opinions and the opinions of the general commoner within Provenere do not seem to matter very much. I know each of the counselors have had staff members, but they were unable, in large part, to supply and provide for those staffing, and therefore companies and organizations that are pro-Gilded Order have taken up those people, and I don't really know if those houses particularly care if their workforce or the citizens that they are employing in part don't particularly like what they're doing. And even if they do know, they aren't acting on it. And then there's some chatter that happens across the table. And if all of you, if you so choose, if you will make an investigation check or an insight check, either one is fine. I will take either role. You're welcome to try.
Alrighty.
All right, Zeiros, go ahead.
I got just to make sure, a 26.
Okay. Somebody can just call it out.
12.
Well,
And
At 20 for a total of 25.
okay.
17.
All right. 17.
7.
7. Okay.
Oh god. Okay.
All right. Zeiros, Paloma, and Vellmon, the three of you, compared to your other companions, pick up on some disdain that this group seems to harbor in regard to the other council members, former as they are, and thus that is a piece of inquiry that you can pull on that thread if you so choose to do so. So if you wish to inquire about it or press further about it, that is certainly an option to you, but you don't have to.
Yeah, so clear, meaning these current council members have a disdain towards the other council members that aren't in favor of them.
Yes. Yeah.
So, as I understand it, the guild order has no issue with funding at the moment, correct?
No, that does not seem to be the problem at all.
But what about their supply? I know Steel and Thundelver seem to take their side, and they are the ones who take the most power out of Phyrexia, which is a mining settlement. I imagine if they were to lose support from Phyrexia as a whole, that could put a huge dent in the Gilded Order's resources.
That is, I suppose, a theory that could be acted upon, but at the same time, Steel and Thundelver are, as you have already insinuated, manufacturing the supplies for a lot of the gear and armaments of the Gilded Order as it stands. And yes, they do draw a lot of supply out of Phyrexia, but that's not the only place that they are getting funding and resources from. They also contract with Ubenberg as well to get a lot of construction materials. And I know that since we don't have access to the Skyport, at least none of our businesses can do that currently, but the Skyport is still open for business, and it seems to be only handling trade that is directly or indirectly in favor of the Guild Order. So a lot of external supplies is being brought in that regard as well.
Turn to the rest of the party. What are y'all's thoughts on this? I was willing to go down a peaceful route for this, but it seems that a forceful hand might be required.
If we are looking for something more forceful, perhaps we can play into this. The Gilded Order is, well, currently worthless. They're not doing much. They seem to be looking for any reason to justify their existence. So, if perhaps we were to provide little breadcrumbs, so to speak, suggesting that other former council members, such as Steel, Thundelver, whatnot, were perhaps planning something, though it may bring greater scrutiny onto all former council members, it would also get them out of the picture.
What are you suggesting? Planting evidence for Steel and Thandover to lose their graces with the Gilded Order?
Basically.
We'd need to have some sort of evidence to use against them.
Something that could be done with time.
I might also add that if you're talking about doing what I think you're talking about, your evidence would also have to be credible. We have learned that the Gilded Order, though they do investigate just about every little report that comes their way, they don't act unless it's a credible problem. They'll investigate, but they won't do anything unless it's an actual issue. And trust me, we've tried. We tried directly talking to our former colleagues, and that didn't go so well. And we even tried appealing to the Gilded Order themselves about their actions, and that didn't do anything. We tried appealing to upper governments, but considering the fact that our authority in the city of Provenere has been practically crushed to nothing, a shadow of its former self, the people in Oshivester and Brontero don't particularly care what we have to say. And more recently, as we've learned, they're a little occupied with their own, what they call bigger issues, which I understand to a certain degree. We're just one city amongst their large landscapes, but we are a prominent city, and I would think that they would be more concerned about what's going on here. But unfortunately, they seem to believe on both sides that the Gilded Order is, necessary to do what they don't have the time to do currently. And given that the uniqueness of Provenere's entire existence is that it is an alliance city between two nations, neither one can just march their military in here and act on their own. And so I think the Gilded Order kind of came about due to the legal dilemma that was presented. So they both kind of had to agree on something, and they decided to institute, I guess, their own army within city boundaries, and just like they instituted the city of Provenere. And so we're just kind of stuck in this limbo, I suppose, of nobody really has full control, and the people that would willing to be voting on the matter to, I guess, restrict the Gilded Order haven't necessarily been on board with that idea. Now, evidence... Go ahead.
Is the Gilded Order's power or manpower split between both nations, or is it a bit weighted on one side?
They all kind of think for a minute. That is a fair question to ask. In all honesty, I don't know, actually. It is... I would think that it's balanced 50-50, but it's hard to say, because we're not in that light anymore. So we can't quite gain access to that information.
Well, in terms of our previous discussion about Steel and Thandover, we may have procured some dirt, as to say, on some of the vicars of Brontero that may or not put their authority into question, if that information was to make light.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Can I get double advantage if we use a luck point?
No.
What if I use two luck points?
I mean, you can use the luck
Isn't
point.
a luck
but
point
that's...
a reroll, not advantage?
Yeah, it's not advantage, it's a reroll. But yes, you can still use a luck point with that. But
How come he gets advantage, but Pura gets nothing?
Because he said he brought up information.
Information that they would want, yeah.
Okay, persuasion. That will be a 23.
23. Okay. Some eyes. Catch some eyes and attention. They'll push on that, I think, too, later. But well, I, for one, will be for planting evidence against our former colleagues, I suppose. But I think all of you, which I must extend my appreciation that you're so willing to act. I do not mean to dishearten you or discourage you in any way. However, from our perspective, you are a bit ahead of yourselves and ahead of what we can do. Even though you are suggesting taking on the Gilded Order in an indirect route, it is not as easy as it sounds. Trust me, we have all discussed it amongst ourselves and thought about trying to do it. We just don't have the manpower to make a difference in the city like we used to. Sizik.
I had been thinking about that. And I thought of something, and it struck me for even more when you had mentioned that neither neighboring cities would be willing to spare troops to help, because it is, as you say, essentially neutral ground between the both, yes? But
Yes.
should, say, we cut off their ability to utilize steel and
Over.
yes, that to supply them with their arms and such. The Gilded Order is not an infinite supply of people. However, if we could somehow, at a point, incite not armies, but the people of Provenere to rise up against the Gilded Order, would not the people of the neighboring cities, not their armies, be more willing to help fight for the freedom of their sister city? Thus, we have not need the manpower of armies, but rather the cities themselves.
That is a very fair suggestion. And technically, the citizens of Provenere have attempted that in part. We have encountered in just the last 4 months a group of people that are calling themselves the Free People of Provenere. Unfortunately, they seem to be highly disjointed and disorganized amongst different smaller factions within a larger body, and thus have not come anywhere close to solidifying the force it would take to actually incite a public initiated revolution. But it is possible, though I think those particular people are looking for a different outcome than what we're looking for.
No,
Because they
not some group of mercenaries. I mean the actual peoples. The
Yes,
ones
that is what I'm
who
talking
want.
about.
Yes,
Yes,
but
yes, the
a good
people
way
have tried
to
doing that.
everyone. If we could somehow turn the entirety of the city against the Order in one way or another, it is not some group of mercenaries, but if it must come to it, perhaps a citywide riot.
I would say that is rather hopeful. Well, I agree that, yeah, that might work. The issue is organizing that.
But
As
why
established.
organize?
Well,
If it is
the Emperor.
everyone acting on their own.
I mean, you have to convince everyone that it would be worth it. I'm willing to bet that should we conduct such a event, the Gilded Order would not be too happy about it, and thus would respond, and even though they are numerically fewer, they have weapons. Well, most of the townsfolk do not.
Well, the kindling for the people to come together and revolt is already there. What they need is a spark. A spark.
And I am
can
not
come
saying
from-
that we convince them. If we can help guide them to make the conclusions for themselves.
I agree.
Well, I
I
think
believe
they already
this
have
might-
the conclude.
But
Sorry, go ahead.
somebody
If-
had said something about
If we want to go that route, it would probably be best if we had significant preparation. For example, back in Brontero, we again almost incited a large-scale revolt. However, they put that down pretty quickly. We should probably do our best to make sure they do not have the same kind of measures here.
That's why you draw their attention. Either a distraction or hit multiple points at once where they can't effectively quell each fire. I think Sizik's
Like those
got a point.
attacking the skyport did?
Yes,
Hmm.
they.
exactly, actually.
In fact,
Good point.
that skyport is a very valuable asset to them, I would assume.
Very symbolic.
I think it would really hurt the Gilded Order if they lost access to their skyport.
Especially if
saying
their
we tear
whole
it
reason
down.
for existence is to protect it after what has happened.
Perhaps
I feel-
if their
I
whole
feel-
reason of being here was shown that
Though-
they are incompetent.
If I may, I feel like we're getting rather ahead of ourselves, put it simply.
Not to say we go and fight terrorism or anything like that, but I feel like the kindling for a rebellion is already there. What the people are needing is a spark of sorts to show that the Gilded Order is not this all-powerful, all-encompassing force that can
Though,
put them down as much as they think it does.
the
If you
things we should make sure before we try anything are, number one, that neither Provenere or Provias or Fenere will respond negatively. I understand that they are currently distracted. However, should again a massive uprising occur in Provenere, that might be big enough to get their attention.
Well, I'm
So-
not saying we go and do something right now.
Yes,
We create
we're
a
going
spark.
to do this. That is number one. Number two, ensure that that the Gilded Order has no mass countermeasure, as Brontero did. Number three, we should probably make contact with those disjointed groups, so that we don't run the risk of confusion or people assuming it's just another terrorist attack. Number four, we need a plan for what happens after.
Well,
As much as I
Unfortunately.
would like to support this theories of events that you're proposing, you have to understand that from our perspective, you're talking about changing the game. We don't have the means to change the game. And contrary to what you are suggesting about the citizens being able to rise up, we don't have that kind of influence currently. The Gilded Order has made it very clear that they are using fear tactics on the city of Provenary. Hell, they're using fear tactics on us. We were a threat to them at some point. I don't think that they consider us a threat now. And I don't think they consider anyone in the city a threat because of how they're handling situations.
Good.
It is incredibly forward to suggest that we might be able to make that kind of sway anytime soon. But to your point, it would require planning. We are not opposed to doing that, but the purpose of this meeting currently is discuss the next immediate steps that we can take in survival. The game will have to wait to be changed.
Yes. Well,
Well-
if we want to talk about immediate steps, number 1 is figuring out and unifying our allies, whoever they may be. I understand that there's also several council members who are not quite committed at this time.
Please elaborate.
So, well, we've done our research upon returning. And though, yes, currently, there are several council members who are subservient to the Gilded Order at this time. It is unknown how loyal that commitment is. As you said, fear tactics. Many of them may be doing it simply to save their own skin, and thus perhaps could be swayed. Perhaps.
That is a fair point to make. I do not necessarily disagree. However, as I would like to consider us all have been at least acquaintances with people that held former council seats, we have ultimately reached the conclusion that our influence, at least, but perhaps not yours, is not going to impact the decisions of the houses that stand against us.
Understood.
But that does not
If I might
necessarily mean
ask-
you cannot do that. Go ahead.
What of the reputation of Madame Genorum and Mox Flynn?
It is quite funny that you should bring that up, because I think that has been a contingent point of conversation as she glances around to our entire group. And we mean no ill offense to all of you, but you were the last people, to our knowledge, that saw both of them alive. So, what happened to Madame Cleo Norman and former Officer Mox Flynn?
Well, to put it plainly, after a teleport spell gone awry, Madame Genorum was in a wall. Mox Flynn tasked himself with assisting her, or understanding what was going on there. There was also some other individuals there to recover her, though none I recognize. Perhaps we could make it our goal to see about their return, if that would be beneficial.
I suppose it is a little bit of a reprieve to hear that they are not dead, as that had been the wide speculation that they had been captured by the Gilded Order and executed for whatever reason. So thank you for putting us a little bit at ease, but as to stuck in a wall, I do not really know how to respond to that. And also, that very well could mean dead. So I suppose that doesn't make our problem very much. Where did this occur?
Oh, that was out in Kilauea, or Pajakin.
Why on Alethea would they have headed? Why would you have headed to Pajakin?
Look, man, Y'all remember those whole guys who came in and blew up the whole city? We were working on that.
Did you find anything?
Yes
we
and
killed the one
no.
responsible.
Huh? We did kill the one who was underground here. So that was a win. Though, that's getting ahead of ourselves. That is one option. If it would help.
Madame Genorum was the largest outcry of any of the former council members that was completely opposed to the idea of a gilded order being formed. It was also Officer Flynn who joined her in that regard. Velzar has been kind enough to fill us in a little bit on the nature of your work with Madame Genorum, as she had conscripted you to aid in going behind all of our backs at a current period of time to investigate a problem that was occurring within. And I think all of us in this room, if I may speak so plainly on behalf of all of us, do not hold anything against any of you for doing such things. We actually are quite thankful that someone was able to get to the bottom of it where we were unable to do so. We're so stuck on what happens and what was going on within the city that we did not pay much attention to the fact that there was something much larger at play. So it brings me a bit of ease to know that people were invested. But the matter at hand now is that we, as nobility, or I don't know if we could really be called that, but I will call us nobility for the sake of simplicity. We don't hold much power, but we do hold a little bit. Enough to make meaningful impacts in the lives of certain people, and our contacts run a little bit more extensive than what I imagine yours do. Though, to my knowledge, all of you have encountered some pretty high-up people too, so maybe I should retract that statement. Nonetheless, what I am getting at is a proposal. Something that we could possibly share information and even potentially alliances. Now, I know you are, by definition, just property owners that happen to live on Consilas Hill, but I think most of us, if not all of us, could at least speak somewhat on your behalf as to the courage that you have employed in the city in the past, and that should not go without noticing or mentioning. So, a very long-winded dialect and dialogue leading me to suggest that if you believe it be beneficial that we align ourselves in common interest to work on things underground in this proverbial sense, I do not believe that is out of the realm of possibility. But before we can do that, we must know exactly what you are bringing to the table for us and what exactly you want from us for you.
Well, I believe what do we want out of you would all come down to what our eventual plan is for the Gilded Order. I don't believe that it's wise to make that kind of assessments right now without knowing what our full plan is in terms of taking them down, whether by force or by political schemes.
I mean,
So,
maybe there's something we could do to just like negotiate with them.
That's ambitious.
I don't know. I'm not very knowledgeable in the politics of all these thingies going on.
As far as what we want from
I can't-
you, I was kind of under the impression there was going to be food.
I apologize for the miscommunication, but I do have some rations. And she reaches into her bag and pulls out like a small little satchel. Would this be sufficient?
No, I appreciate it, but I got so many of those. Thanks, though.
All right.
I'm asking the real questions. Where's my fucking food?
But in all seriousness, other than your expressed concerns regarding the city of Provenere, and that you consider it your home, as do we, what exactly do you need from us? What is your angle? What is your benefit that you gain by aligning yourself with former houses, former nobility, and former council members?
Well, I can't speak for everyone here. As I seem to understand it, I was willing to go with this, the more passive route. However, it seems the Gilded Order only responds to and respects a show of strength or active conflict. Obviously, as capable as our group is, cannot do everything on our own. You say that the Gilded Order uses a fear tactic. However, when faced with a cobra, what part do you fear? Do you fear the head, the tail, the body?
What does that have to do with anything?
It's a metaphor.
As a farmer, I understand where you're trying to go with that. I think that all of us heard you mention something earlier about uncovering some information about the elite in Brontero, at least. It might be another proposed route instead of your head-on approach to not passively do it, but circumventionally, to instead go above the Gilded Order and try to change things on that front. But in order to do that, and it seems like you are already contemplating that speculation, you would in fact need hard evidence against the people that oversaw the creation of the Gilded Order, or the elite of the Gilded Order itself, or both. Both would be preferred, and if you could do that, then
in the realm of hard evidence, we may in fact possess that. However, not something we will wish to disclose at this moment for our own sakes.
and I completely understand that. And I don't think we're asking you to disclose it. I think we are appreciative that you've been honest with us thus far about having evidence, and I do think at some point that would be a conversation we need to have, but not currently.
Agreed. If we want to go the route of circumvention, we have ties in Oshivester, though they're, again, quite distracted at the time, to see any sort of effect of that. We will need to have them utterly convinced that without action, they will lose the city. As that is where their current concerns are with Hastara.
Correct.
Well, Altrix, didn't your contacts in Oshivester say that they were quite happy with how the Gilded Order was taking things?
Not necessarily happy, but they are content with the fact that no issues have been coming out of Provenere. And therefore see it as a bit of a non-issue at the time. So,
I think it would be beneficial if why do I have to be the person to say this? I think it would be beneficial if you can tell us if we should be worried about all of you having information like this, or if we can consider you somewhat allies, or full-on allies. At this point, we are pretty open to different possibilities. But what we
wouldn't
100%
be here.
need to know is that you're not going to do anything. And again, I know you have a past, and I am not questioning that past in regards to helping out the city. But you have to understand from our perspective that the more people we let into this group, the more dangerous it becomes of a security risk.
Well, we wouldn't be here if we were not aligned in our thinking that the Gilded Order needs to be dealt with. But as to whether or not we're going to do something, I think I can't speak for everyone in saying that we will not just do something without having a plan thought out and everyone on board before doing so.
I personally tried to give them a chance, I'm back to the city, this new thing. Our initial interaction was not great, but, I suppose, if they're taking care of things, that can't be all too bad. And I spoke with them and asked, what have you accomplished? How have you helped the city? They just told me that was classified. And while maybe that's true, the fact that you cannot even give a statement on how you've done the one thing you're supposed to do, I mean, that just sounds like you haven't done anything. So, as a man of invention, of arcane knowledge, to hear that so much of the city's resources are being diverted into something that does absolutely nothing, instead of expanding the wonders of what could be, that I cannot allow. So if you're worried that we're just going to, I don't know, run back to the Gilded Order or whatever, that will not happen. And so long as I live, I want them out of this city.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh. Should I roll with advantage anyway?
Did you get a natural 20?
On the first one, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, you can get 2 nat 20s, I guess, but...
Oh, it's a nat 1. Yeah, we'll go with the 20.
Yeah, we'll go with the first. Okay.
Just double check my die that it doesn't have... rolled like 3 nat 20s today.
Sure. Madame Rapori turns to the rest of the people sitting at the table. I personally can corroborate their story. I have not seen in my many interactions with all of them that any one of them, or them as a group, would pose any significant threat to us as a group or to the city at large. They seem to have the best interest at heart. And she turns back to all of you. So while yes, that is the concern, I think I have enough evidence on my own to come to my own conclusion that that is not a problem. And she will turn, look, and wait for the rest of them to speak. And one by one, each one of them kind of nods in somewhat of lucid agreement. Then I would propose that we consider this group of individuals, their estate, and their word, and their information as allianced. If that is okay with
Yay.
all of you, Lorem Ipsum.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Sounds good to me.
Well, I will second that nomination then, as the cactus, who's been utterly quiet the entire time. You see his like arm. I guess it's an arm of Saguaro kind of extends up just a little bit higher. Just kind of the prickles kind of raise up just a little bit more as he seems to second the nomination. I will second that nomination. Well, I have indubitably loved hearing your testimony about what you've uncovered, and I do think we would definitely love to speak further. However, time is not of the permitting factor at the current hour, and thus we must close our meeting this evening, and I suppose we will need to stay in contact. Some information, though, that you should be aware about our group is that we do meet every couple of weeks. The location changes on a rotating basis, so do not expect to come back here. We will send you an invitation. I promise we'll make it sure that you get a hold of it. It will not be by magical means of any regard, though. It will come by hand delivered on a piece of parchment. Are we clear? Wonderful.
Cool.
All right. Secondly, there are bits and pieces of information I'm sure that we possess that you would like to know, and information that you possess that we would like to know, and we do need to perhaps discuss that information. However, I do think that you have shared enough, at least for now, for us to make this decision. So, if you would not mind at least agreeing to that discussion down the road, I do think that would be appreciated.
I believe so.
Well, thank you very much for your attendance. Now, I do think the hour grows late, and we must all dismiss. All of them kind of nod, and one by one, they all kind of begin to get up, and the conversation seems to begin to kind of spread out. Now, in this particular moment, all of you have an opportunity to kind of one-on-one with any particular person of the people that are present before they depart, if you'd like to do that. But the conversations are no longer in one group setting, and it can now be kind of diverted into smaller ones. So, yes, Jared, go ahead.
I would like to walk up to Esquire Ronan.
Yes, sir. What could I do?
Did you get the bottle of champagne that I left for you?
No, I did. I appreciate the insights, although I am not a drinking man. My brother, however, did partake, so I will keep it as a sentiment. His liquor cabinet did unfortunately go missing during his death, I suppose. So, a real shame. He had been working on it for years, but
He did. Well, just consider it an offering of good peace from us. And just,
I will do as such.
if you need anything, let us know.
Of course.
And that's it. I'll walk away.
Okay.
Is
Yes.
also the cactus in the room?
Yes, he's still here.
Okay, Pura is going to visibly focus on the cactus, trying to discern if he has blood in him or not.
He doesn't
The
have
rest of
blood. But
But does Pura know that?
Pura, make an intelligence check.
Okay.
Or a nature check. Is that... Yeah, make a nature check.
A nature check?
Yep.
19.
19.
Oh.
Yeah, cactuses don't have blood. Sorry. So
Can
yes, Pura
can
knows.
can Pura try to like control the water in him? Or is that just not?
It does not work the same way.
Doesn't work.
You're not you're not an aquamancer.
You're not
You're
a
not-
waterbender. You can't do that.
I can't just like make my hands like this and like make him move.
Yeah, Pura
No.
does that and he
No.
explodes.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Yes.
explode the cactus.
Would any of the rest of you like to catch any of these individuals before they depart?
I wouldn't mind grabbing Miss Lydia Berdier.
Rancor?
I can't remember if I talked to you about this prior. It's been a long few months. The Bright Shadow, who you were previously hiding from and keeping people safe from, she's no longer an issue.
I assume that is the individual that
I don't know if you could that just for me, but I didn't hear any of that.
I assume that's the individual that you all referred to as killed or taken care of.
Yes.
I appreciate the note.
Though it does seem that some of her compatriots are still active. Not sure how much of a hand they have in that whole business, but there's one in Elatar Bay that we have our sights set on.
All right. Well, if there's anything I can do to assist, I would be happy to comply.
Do you have any information on Elatar Bay or the titanium blade?
Eltar Bay is... how does one say it? Racist. Incredibly racist. They love elves. I'm a drow, by the way, not an elf.
Aren't you like a offset?
Yes,
or...
I am technically an elf, but they don't view it that way. No, Eladrins are, that's the best, and then elves are great, and then everybody else is just everybody else. So,
what about half elves?
That's disgusting.
They're half as
eyes.
great.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, I wish I could word it better, but I don't want to sugarcoat it for you. So if you plan on attending or visiting Elatar Bay, be prepared for the fact that it does not look like anybody in your group except for Pura it has any elvish heritage, and therefore you'll just be a commoner. They won't view you with any other authority. But as an elf, that might be a resource you might want to exploit.
Pura, aren't you a half elf? No, wait, you're a wood elf, aren't you?
Pura
Or high
is
elf?
so concentrated on a cactus.
You know, this guy's got to have blood in him somewhere. I mean, come on. He's alive, right?
Stop staring at that distinguished gentleman. It's so
And I start dragging Pura out.
Pura's gonna like take out like a knife and be like, "What if I just cut him?"
Nope, we're not
No.
doing this.
Don't try to cut our allies.
We're not doing this.
Please,
This
sir,
is the experiment we're doing.
Man
There's a book in the library. I can show you.
Malapore is like, oh yeah, I know these guys. I trust them. They wouldn't harm us. Pura, maybe I can cut him open.
It is for
I
science.
need to know what's inside you.
Yes.
So half elves are bad.
Yes. They view that as a abomination.
Great.
Yeah.
Full elves are okay though. Is that what they said?
Full elves are like middle class, middle to upper class, and then Eladrin are like the elites.
So is that a Ladrian? Is that like a pure elf or something?
It's the Fey ancestor of the elves. So basically, apex elves, I guess.
Are you able to disguise as one of those, or is that like an unusual thing to do?
Can I do that?
Anyone with a form of disguise.
I suppose you could try, but they'll probably be able to see through it. Not like literally see through it, but like, disguise only works so well. Like if they get up close, they shake your hand, they see like the makeup isn't right, the earrings aren't right. They'll know.
So
They're very keen eyes.
So Pura, you'll be our head, but you can't drink at all. You have to be 100% conscious while we are there. You cannot screw this up for us.
What if they have cool alcohol, like the bone alcohol or the fish
no
alcohol?
You're going sober while you're in Elatar Bay, okay?
Sober in Elatar Bay. Next episode title.
We don't need you blowing our cover and getting us in trouble with the locals.
Yeah, y'all have zero trust in me. I'm really good at being undercover, just so you know.
No, you're not.
I mean, considering the low lives and information that I have gathered from them, I think so.
Remember last time you tried playing low with me in the casino?
Well, yeah, but we
Altrix
almost did it.
remembers.
Like, we were so close, and then we had to use the little invisible powder and then, run away. But it was, we were so close.
Well, while the two of you can converse, I'm gonna start taking my leave and get my mother home. Good seeing you, Rancor and Pura. Have I met you before?
Probably not, but nice to meet you.
I think she's only met me and Evident.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Who we
only
don't
you
talk
know, right?
about.
Okay. Yeah, so it's nice to meet you, Pura, and I do like getting drunk, but probably best to heed Rancor's advice. Well, she pats you on the shoulder, Rancor. If I've never told you, you have a great sword, and she begins to descend down the
It's a cane.
attic stairs. And
She knows.
she walks down.
Exactly.
Wait a minute.
And she's gone. So, anybody else have yes, Sizik, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go see Evelyn McKinnon. Is that her
Yep.
name?
Yep.
Okay.
Evelyn McKenna.
Okay. I couldn't remember the name. Well, it sounds like the issues with the Gilded Order could get worse. If that's the case, the offer still stands. We still have room. You and your brother are more than welcome at the chateau.
Yes, I do really appreciate it. I wanted to apologize for my interactions earlier. I mistook the reason you had attended my residence for something else, so I do apologize very much on that behalf. But thank you for the offer.
Took it for what?
Make an insight check.
Oh boy, I'm so good at those. Okay. I get a whole +0.
Yeah,
Altrix all over again.
yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Okay. No, I don't want to use you. I don't trust you. I'm gonna use you. Do I feel lucky? I might feel lucky.
Okay, I don't know.
Sure, I'm gonna feel lucky because I can do better than a 3.
I can do better. Yeah, you could.
I'm gonna roll a 2 this time. Watch.
Or a 1.
Or 3 again.
Oh, there you go.
Use a different die.
Use a luck point.
Wait.
You
That
already
was a
did.
luck point. But
Use another one.
hold on. Where is it? I'm gonna spend a sorcery point on magical guidance to re-roll again. Because I can do
This
better
is
than a
Altrix all over
3.
again.
I hope you get a third 3.
A third 3 would be crazy.
This is a different die again from the other
It's gonna roll a
2.
3. Jared,
If it's a 3
Jared's
again,
already
I
cursed
quit.
your dice.
Would you like me to roll for you? I'd be happy to.
That's a 15.
God damn it.
15.
And I give disadvantage.
No.
Can I give a disadvantage?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I thought that you were calling on me.
I don't think he's gonna understand what she means.
I don't think so, does he? And so she just smiles, blushes a little bit, and walks away.
No, you wouldn't. Would anybody know what that means?
Says
Ask
roll
him,
risk
he'll
check.
surely know.
Goes to Paloma again.
His first thought was Altrix, then he's like, no, he wouldn't know. He already had trouble with his
Paloma?
girlfriend. He's like, Vellmon? No, probably not.
Pura
Zeros,
might.
definitely not.
It's not like
Pura-
Pura's had a relationship.
You're
And a wife
married.
and kid.
You know what?
I'm married.
know the Pura who
Pura-
has. If we know the Pura who's a
Um,
fucking drunk and done.
Yeah, is this the Pura that's a
Doesn't mean I
drunken
can't
idiot, or is it the
give it
Pura
advice.
who's married?
You know,
Pura,
Both.
I have a question.
yeah, what's up, bro?
Are you still holding the knife?
Altrix is like pulling
intently
him away.
Staring at the character.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull him and lower the freaking ladder at the same time, and it's just not working.
I'm going to ignore whatever this is about.
Mhm,
What does it mean if you are calling on someone? Because I feel as if this is one of those moments where it means something that is not what it sounds like it means.
Like, what do you mean by calling on somebody? Like, on a date? Or like...
I don't believe so.
Alright, well, what did this individual say to you, specifically?
So I went to them,
Mm-hmm.
and I said if they are struggling with everything going on, that we still have room at the Kosal Chateau if they need a place to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And they then told me that when I had first said this to them, that they misunderstood my reasoning for telling them and said, I thought you were calling on me. And I have no idea what that is meant to mean.
What was her face? What was her reaction?
She looked a little redder than normal.
Interesting. Yeah, I would say she might be a little bit smitten, or at least was took aback by that question that you gave her.
Who said that?
But I did not see anybody hit her with smite.
Yeah, but it's like it's like an expression of feeling that they thought you were hitting on her, which therefore means
I would
that
never hit somebody for no reason.
Well, hitting as in terms of sexual like advantage or sorry, not, advances on this person, you know?
Excuse you.
Or
Pura, I really
I
think
can't
we should go home.
Paloma gets the ladder down and shoves Pura down it.
Yeah,
I'm really
me and
upset.
Paloma carrying like a...
Pura tumbles downstairs.
You got
I'm
this,
so
buddy.
upset that my Discord
Stay
froze
strong.
for the last 10 seconds, so I missed all of that.
You good. Good.
No,
Yeah,
I was so invested.
Can you simplify?
No, don't. Just
Am I
no,
am I able to?
Conversation done.
Down the stairs?
Conversation over. Stop.
Paloma, do you want to push Pura down the stairs?
Yeah, I'm pushing Pura down
Pura
the stairs.
has more.
All right,
That
make
would
an
be
attack roll on
beneficial.
Pura.
Yeah, no. Better yet, Altrix
Is it
cast...
time
Ultrix
for the
cast
Aarakocra
silence.
Beast talk with Sizik?
Oh, Birds of the Beast talk with Sizik!
Good.
No,
No,
literally,
God.
see it just...
What?
All right,
Okay, that's
Paloma.
worse than me.
That is.
Give me your attack roll.
That's a 24.
Yeah, Pura just down the attic stairs. Pura, you find yourself splayed out on the ground, briefly loss of consciousness, enough for the rest of the group to finish any conversation.
I cast silence on Pura.
Okay.
That's an AoE.
I'm trying to help Sizik.
I'll take care of him.
It's like a 20-foot radius, so we're like all.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's the entirety of downstairs is silent.
Anyway, as the McKinnons and the Berdiers depart from this place, Paloma, as you have just finished kicking Pura down the stairs, Dr. Chris approaches you. There is an old Aarakocra proverb that is birds of a feather must stick together. I'm sure you've heard it. So I appreciate your insights and would definitely look forward to working with you in the future. But until we see each other again, have a good night.
Oh, yeah, you too. Glad to see you're in one piece now.
Right. She just sends it, looking at Pura on the ground and just keeps walking. All right. Anybody else in the chamber want to talk to anybody?
Well, Vellmon would be trying to chase Lydia, but she's apparently already gone.
Yeah, she's gone. She's gone.
She booked it.
Fucking.
I don't think
It's like-
I don't think Zeiros would do any talk to anybody.
Okay. Well, in that case, one by one, Esquire Roran, Farmer Wheatflow, Miss Bladebreaker, the Cactus. Circles is only on the Esquire the Third.
Oh yeah, do we
leaving
leave
Madame
him
Lepori
upstairs?
Yes. He just hangs out upstairs. And then
He's waiting for
Madame
everyone to
Lepori-
leave.
Yeah, Madame Lepori. She waves her goodbye. Relzar waves his goodbye to each of you. And then on your way. And all of you can slowly but surely return to the Coastal Chateau. It's now 10:30 at night, so you have spent an hour, almost an hour and a half or so, or almost 2 hours, sorry, over 2 hours. I can do math.
Nope.
As you return to the... Shut up. And over 2 hours. As you return to the Coastal Chateau, Owens, what do you want?
Can me and Pura go to like the library to read up on whatever kind of plant Vamiante is? And if I may ask, can there not be a book about it?
I say you can go to the Coastal Chateau library, and there won't be a book that particularly mentions this cacti. It mentions every other major plant, but not cacti. Sure. Well, our adventurers retired to the Coastal Chateau, having, I would call it a success, encountering with their fellow allies, if we're going to call them that. Some houses, at least, that are willing to operate in your favor. But now, as you gather your own supplies, gathering Genevieve and Marek as well, you all must prepare for a different endeavor entirely. And that endeavor we will explore next week as we come back. So, thank you all for joining us. It has been an evening at the Shalehouse for sure. And so, until next time, the adventure does in fact continue, and we will see you next week. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye bye.